You ain't right. That's just wrong.
Y'all,
Hey.
we're a couple of minutes late, but we are live. And, this is such an important conversation because folks ask us all the time. Number one, do single women move abroad alone? Do single people move abroad alone? Do single people thrive abroad alone? Right? Like, how is the dating? Right? Like all of these things.
Mhm.
So the two questions we get is, am I too old?
Never
Right.
too old.
Right? And don't give away the punchline.
Oh, Lord.
You see how you do?
Okay,
You
let's
see how you do?
take that back. I didn't say anything. Just act like I didn't see it.
Am I too old? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then do single people move? Like, how many times do we hear, well, that's nice for you and Rick Halisi, or that's nice for you and Halisi Rick, but I'm single. And so I don't think that this is possible if I'm single.
Okay.
Right? How many times have we heard that?
Oh,
Like,
we hear it a lot. We hear it all the time.
Oh, well, not so much that if we had a penny for every time, but if we had $1,000 for every time, we'd be rich.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So, we want to dispel some of the myths that folks have about what is possible and what your life can look like, and hopefully alleviate some of the anxiety and fear
Mhm.
around moving to another country, especially a country where you don't speak the language, and that thing that you think you're going to be somewhere all alone.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to dispel some of that. And then the other part is just the anxiety of the whole thing. Right.
Yeah, that can be.
And going through life changes in another country without your family, right? This is the whole thing. And so the guest that we have for y'all moved here to Lisbon, Portugal, I think before the pandemic or at the early stages of the pandemic, something like that. She'll let us know. But suffice it to say, she done been here for a minute.
She's been here for a minute.
And one of the other questions that we get, like, once the honeymoon is over, right? Once the honeymoon is over,
what's it like then?
Then what does life look like, right?
Yeah.
Because it's, we spend so much time concentrating on the move that we don't think about what we want our lives to look like and what that is going to look like. And so when we do our scouting trips, like, we really, really emphasize replicating your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting because I remember Rick saying, like, we ain't on vacation, we just living. We just living here for this point in time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You got to let vacation go.
Yeah. That notion that we're going to go to, we're going to do an event every day, or every other day, we're going to be on this tour and that tour. Like, that's not what life abroad is.
No.
Right.
You got to get up in the morning and make your bed because ain't nobody coming to make it for you unless you have a maid.
Well,
if you live large like that.
Right.
But,
and we're not. We only get it every other week. So.
Yeah, you got day to day and folks to meet.
Exactly.
Things to do.
Exactly.
Grocery shopping to do.
Bills to pay, things back at home to handle, right? Whether it's parents or kids and all of this stuff. So life shows up.
Yeah, you got to figure it out.
Still while you're abroad. So let's talk about it and let's bring on our guest. Hopefully y'all can't see that they're partying in the building next door, and it's hot in here, so we have the window open. So hopefully y'all can hear us okay.
If y'all hear some karaoke in or something like that, that's what they're doing out there.
Yeah.
We can always shut the window though if it gets too loud.
City life. So, hey y'all. My name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about, what do we talk about? We talk about travel, we talk about money, we talk about retiring abroad. As we build generational wealth, we help folks who look like us, who are getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan, get their money straight so that they can retire on time or maybe even early.
Early is good.
Yes. So, who is our special
We're
guest
going to
today?
talk to Karen Beverly. I mean, this lady is special. She's what? I think we were calling her the mayor of Lisbon.
Yeah, at least Black American Lisbon, right?
Lisboa. Yeah, because I mean, Karen is a person to know. She has the info. She knows who's who
And
and
what's what?
and what's what.
She done been here for a
She's been
while,
here for a
y'all.
minute, so we always look at Karen. She's very, very, very important to all of us.
Yes, definitely. But before that, before we get started, in case you are new to our channel, then you might not know. Back in 2018, somewhere around there, Rick and I got a huge wake-up call, right? Like we went to this meeting with a so-called financial advisor, and we looked, and he made us look at our money, and it looked crazy. The amount of money that we had saved was not indicative of somebody who was close to retirement age.
It was crazy, y'all. It was really, really crazy. I couldn't hold on. I had to let it out. I was.
And not only that, he left the meeting so depressed. And so, we at that point we started getting our financial act together, and we went from negative 22,000 in net worth to over 1.1 million. Yeah. If we can do it, you can do it too.
You can do it.
If we can do it, you can do it too. And so we are here to let you know that there is a better way and that you do not have to live paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, yeah.
Right? All right. So with that said, some of the reason why we were able to retire more quickly than we thought we could is because we found a place to live that really met our needs and that we had always dreamed of living, that actually had a lower cost of living than our cost of living at home. Hey now, come on now.
I can do that.
Right? And so we found our own Black Utopia, and we are going to bring to you someone who has found her joy in Lisbon, Portugal.
Oh, sweet. Very sweet.
Hey, Karen.
Hey, Karen.
So glad to be here with you guys.
We are happy that you're here. We are happy that you're here. And why don't you introduce yourself, because we cannot do you justice. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Karen Beverly, and I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, the most favorite city in the world, besides Lisbon, Portugal, of course, where I live now. But I retired in 2018, and my mother had like 5 children, and one passed away, unfortunately, some years ago. So I'm the only girl of 3 brothers, and they love me tremendously.
I love that. I wish I had siblings that I grew up with. Because there are experiences that I will never have. I will never have. So, and I do have siblings, but I didn't grow up with them because of age gaps, etc. But anyway, so tell us. Let's just get started at the very beginning. Why Portugal?
Oh yeah, I knew at 5 years old that I would not live in the U.S. of A. for the rest of my life. And how I knew that, my grandmother was a librarian. And so we read books and we traveled all through the books and otherwise. So experiencing travel, I just knew I wanted to just live outside of the United States. And I said that, okay, I'll raise my son. I have one son, one granddaughter. I would raise him and then I'm out. So 2018, I decided that I would retire, and I started looking at other places like Italy, Germany, Africa, and Spain. I never looked at Portugal until I started my research. When I started research, Portugal said, look at me. And so I did. And that's how I ended up in Portugal.
So
because of immigration and everything.
Okay. So it was just kind of happenstance?
It was for Portugal.
Right.
I knew I was going somewhere, but I didn't know where.
Okay. And then what about Portugal was the thing?
So ease of
That's
immigration.
okay.
So as you stated earlier, I did come right before the pandemic. I got
Okay.
here December 17th of 2019. 3 months later, the pandemic hit. So it was totally different Portugal, totally, excuse me, Lisbon than it is today.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everything was, I could open a bank account with just 25 euro to just open the bank account. I didn't have to have a year of rent in an apartment. It was
Right,
just so different. Yeah. And then the pandemic hit, but healthcare, safety, at the time, it was number 4 as the safest place in the world. So I had come
and
from the United States a little traumatized.
Oh, yeah.
So I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, right in the center of Atlanta, in Midtown. So it got to a point where, I would, when I popped the remote to get into my gated community, I would have to look back to make sure nobody was coming in behind me. And
Oh,
that gave me PTSD. It really did. And I didn't know I had it until I moved here.
that experience, and see, it's interesting because the things that we take for granted, the things that just are normal for us. So I remember living in an apartment building with a gate, and you drive into the underground parking.
Mhm.
And I would sit there at the gate and wait until the gate closed to make
Mhm.
sure nobody on foot or on car in a car came in after me.
It's
And
exactly.
it, it kind of sounds a little crazy in retrospect, but it wasn't. It was logical because
Yeah.
between the news and the statistics told us that this is something that a logical, especially woman alone in a car at night, should do. And
Right.
maybe not even at night,
yeah.
Right. I had a
right?
couple of incidents, where I saw a clothing store that I had just come out of get robbed. I had another incident. My car was bumped in Birmingham, Alabama. They thought I didn't know the city. That my surrogate mother lived there, and I knew the whole area because I used to live there. And they bumped my car, and so something, said, "Oh, get out of the car," but then something else said, "Do not."
Do not.
They
Yeah.
bumped it again, and because I knew the area, I knew where the police department was like a block away. And then uh, Sandra Bland had happened. And then I said, I can't roll up on the police department like that. So I called and I went to the little 7-Eleven convenience store right there and waited for the police to come to me. And they said, good thing you did not get out of the car because they would have stolen the car, robbed you, or hurt you.
Exactly. Exactly. And so the only reason I know about that scheme is because my best friend baby daddy, he was like, so you want to make some money, Halisi? Back in the day. And I'm like, so all you gotta do is you bump the person in front of you, and then we're gonna say with the insurance company, and this, it wasn't about stealing the car, it was more about gaming the insurance company. But one
Mm-mm.
scam is another scam is another scam, right? Like soon as that was in my head, and I was hip to the skip, it's like, okay, so if I took this one step further, what would that look like? Right.
Right.
And so when I started hearing about people getting carjacked and stuff by a supposed accident,
Right. Yeah. That's
Mhm.
what
right?
that was.
A supposed accident, I was like, oh, I know what that game is. I know what that game is. And see, that's why I'm glad I was born and raised in LA. Where all the scams, happen. If they weren't born there, then they trickle there, right?
Mhm.
And it's really sad that as women, but not just as women, because it could happen to men just as
Yes.
Yeah.
right, like that we have to live that way, that we have to think that way, that we have to always be on guard as if we are in a war zone.
Yes.
And so the last statistic that I've seen, excuse me, is that Portugal is the sixth safest country. So when you moved here, it was the fourth.
It's the fourth. Mm-hmm.
2 steps down is still not bad.
It's not. It
When you
really is not.
consider, right, when you consider America is like, I've already moved, baby. When you consider America, I keep bubble water
That thing
in
is
here.
dangerous.
And if I haven't opened it in a while, this top will explode like champagne. He was
Yeah.
backing up.
No, we were on a call yesterday and she opened it and it shot past me.
And,
The top just shot like
and so
a bullet. I was like,
before
oh
I
my
even
God.
came in here, I opened it and took the air pressure out. I'm like, I'm not going to be on air knocking my husband out with this thing.
Good. And
But yeah,
and can I the first week that I was here, I'd gone to an event and it was like 10 o'clock at night walking to the event. So of course it's dark, right? And I see policemen coming my way. And I'm, thinking, oh Lord, what's happened? Because remember, I've only been here 1 week. And so they stepped aside and they said, ma'am, watch the poop on the sidewalk. And I said, just a deep breath, release. They told me to watch the poop. Don't walk in the poop.
Wow.
So I knew I was going to be
like
all
all
right.
congested cities, y'all, this is not a Lisbon thing. This is a congested city thing. These folks
Mhm,
act like their dogs don't poop. Okay. I've seen it in
mhm.
every major
Yeah.
city outside of the United States and in the United States, but not like I see it outside of the United States. It's a thing. It's
Mhm.
not a Lisbon thing. It's a non-United States thing. But isn't that refreshing?
It was. It was. I almost skipped the rest of the way.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
And the fact that you felt comfortable enough to walk by yourself,
Yeah.
right?
That's the
Yes.
thing.
So
10
we're
o'clock
going to
at
say
night.
thank you. We are going to say hello to the folks who are in the chat, but there was one other thing that I wanted to ask you first. God dog it. Walking alone. Had you visited Portugal before you moved here?
Yes, I did. I did. I had to come on an exploratory trip to find the neighborhood that I wanted to live in, find a house. So I did it twice before I moved. Found the neighborhood, then went back to Atlanta, and then came back and found a house. And it was just that easy during that time. It
Yeah.
Okay.
took me, I scheduled a week to find a house. I found it in 2 days.
And so then the rest of the days was like chill and explore the city.
That's right. Two of my girlfriends came with me because when I started talking it up, I'm going to Portugal to find a house. And they said, can I go? I said, yeah. So we had the rest of the time to just explore.
I wish and wish it. I try not to
Mhm,
have
mhm.
regrets. But when Rick first brought up the idea of Portugal, we really were 3 months away from being in the financial position to make it happen.
Mhm.
And yet my ego said, no, you got to do this, and this. You still, 2025 was our move date. 2025 was our move date. And so it was, you remember?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was like, oh Lord, if this woman, if she don't, like, because he's a little bit older than I am, right? And so he's like, look, I don't care
Just
about these
little bit.
titles. I don't care about these titles. I don't care about any of that stuff. Time is ticking, and I'm still trying to. Killer Queen says no shots or vaccination required. True, yeah. This is Western Europe, babies. This is not a country that has, that is so different from the United States where you have to get shots.
Yeah.
But in any event, I was still in that Black excellence frame of thinking where, I've got to at least become the CEO of this organization before I step down, even though I was
Mm-hmm.
the senior vice president in charge of all things effed up.
What a good way to put it.
Right, right. Like the CEO gets to go home on time. Who's still at the office trying to unscramble this shit?
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
so when Rick said, okay, that's nice, baby, but I don't want to be here during the next election, I was like, after January
Mm,
6th, neither do I. Neither
exactly.
do I. Okay, let's figure this out. All right. So let's see who is in the chat. We're going to say some hellos to our folks
Okay.
who are watching. Winnie, how are
Hey,
you? I
Winnie.
haven't seen you in a minute. Have you? I must be thirsty for this chat. Winnie, I have not. I haven't seen you in a minute. So thank you for showing up today. Hey, Diane, good to see you. Shanora is in the house. Always a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to have you. Who else we
Hey,
got?
Frederica.
Frederica. All right. So
Oh, Frederica.
Frederica's here now. Have you met her yet?
Yes.
Karen? Okay. See,
Yes.
look, Frederica.
Uh-oh. Did we freeze? Uh-oh. Come on back. Hmm. Let's see. Uh-oh.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back. What happened?
That was weird.
That's the internet.
Yeah, it was just.
Welcome to live, y'all. Welcome to live. We do not depend upon Wi-Fi. We are wired in. And so,
Oh,
yeah, we are wired in. We have very high speed. So thank you all for being patient with us. You know how it is. Thank you for accepting the fact that this is never going to be perfect. But anyway, so Frederica, yeah, we've known Frederica. Well, he hasn't. I've known Frederica since at least 2017, 2018. I'm going to say 2018, 2018, 2019. And so she's been here for a minute. Me and her daughter done broke bread. We broke bread with her daughter 2, 3, 4 times. Who came here to help her get situated. Okay, Frederica, it's time for us to get together. It's time for us.
yes. Me too.
Right. And I feel like, okay, hi, Karen, that because we had to re-come in, if we miss saying hello to you, or if your question does not get answered, ask it again, because I'm looking and it looks like all of the hellos are gone, y'all. They're gone. So hey, Jess, I can't wait to try someplace different. Yes, yes, yes. Flutter by Pacific Northwest is in the house. Jametta is in the house. Where are you? Benoit, Halisi, and Rick. I can't believe I'm almost
Hey,
missed
Jametta.
this. I'm decluttering my closet. Yay!
Oh,
But today's
nice.
conversation is for me. Yes, we got to get rid of stuff before we can make that move, because in general, you are not going to have as much space necessarily, especially if you're moving from a traditional 3-bedroom, 2-bath house or bigger. You might not have as much space. Like, our office is smaller than our walk-in closet in our house in Denver.
Mm,
And they
yeah.
called this a 3rd bedroom, y'all. They called this a 3rd
Oh
bedroom.
yeah. Oh yeah. And I
I'm
say
excited
something.
about moving into
They're
them.
they're being so sweet because when it froze, they were encouraging me. They'll be back. They'll be back. You just have the best audience. I love this.
We do. We do. Hey, Shara. I'm so happy. Hi, Halisi and OBU family. We're so glad that you're here. I'm starring the questions that I see. Y'all know the drill. Put a Q in front of it. Michelle Lynn Thompson, transition to retirement. Sounds like a new name.
Yeah.
Love the silver hair. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the OBU family. Winnie is in the house. I look forward to living single. And we're living single. You remember that show?
No, I try to forget it. Anyway.
That was, I guess it was a girl show. I guess it was a woman show. I don't know.
We got the tennis coaches.
Tennis coaches are in the house. We all know who they are. Hello,
yeah,
Elaine. Elaine is logging in from Houston. Vote, Elaine. Vote. Get Colin Allred in there. So okay. I don't get into my comments, y'all. I'm just gonna tell you. I am on the side of democracy. I am on the side of facts. And anybody who represents democracy and telling facts and not BS is who we are supporting. And even though I don't live in Texas, I do know Colin Allred. I have been in the green room with him, and he is as much of a sweetheart as he appears on TV. Genuine. Yeah, genuine and gracious and a good guy. And we need to get him into the Senate. Y'all know that there's only been about 6 Black people ever elected to the U.S. Senate. Elected, not selected. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Hey, Pinky. Good to see you.
Hey, Pinky.
Valerina, we can hear you okay. Thank you, Valerina. Fun. We want an invite. I don't know, Stephanie, what you're talking about, but I want to invite too. I want to invite too. Hey, Greta.
Hey, Greta.
I hope you enjoyed Exodus Summit. I think I still have a link if you want to buy the replays to Exodus Summit where I did a talk on fascism. It was a great thing. Hey, Winnie, good to see you. What's the weather like now? I did a walk today. I try to do a walk at least 5 days a week, a good, 5 miles to 10,000 steps. And I just had on a tank top and
today the weather was
thin
great.
Windbreaker.
It was good.
And the windbreaker was sticking to my skin by the time I got back from my little walk.
Good.
So
it was nice.
Right. So even though it was like only 71, 72,
71,
but it felt 77. Now, I don't know if that's because of the humidity and, coming from Denver where there's no humidity.
Yeah, it was humid today.
But it ain't no Louisiana humidity.
No.
That's a dog.
I don't know how I grew up in Louisiana. Every time I go back, I say, "How did I do this?" I was a child.
Right. Now, so Karen, you said Louisiana. Now,
Yes.
my grandmama and them said it was like 2 syllables. Louisiana.
Right.
Louisiana. There was no Louisiana. No. Travel near and far. I'm so glad that you are here. Tanya is in the house.
Hey, Tanya.
Action VJ.
Action VJ.
Killer Queen is in the house.
Killer Queen.
Who is here. Walked 7 miles.
7
Look
miles.
At her.
Wow.
I'm not surprised. Yeah. I'm not surprised. Her body looks like she walks 7 miles. I'm just going to say that. Killer Queen is killer.
We got to break bread with Killer Queen. You
yes.
can't be here and we not.
Yes. Hi, here in Cascais. So, see, she was waiting on the crazy.
Crazy?
Yes, she was. Marguerite is in the house.
Hey, Marguerite.
B1 is in the house. Valerina, I said that. All right, y'all. All right, we are going to get right down to it. Some of you, I'm sorry, your stuff disappeared. And this is the first time that I've noticed that things actually disappear when we lose connection. And that's something that they probably need to fix, especially with the owners of the account. We are not on YouTube. Well, we are on YouTube, but we're not using YouTube to stream live. We're actually using a third party
platform.
that is called StreamYard that allows us to stream to more than one platform at a time. So I'm just going through and marking the questions. All right. So, all right. So you're here. And one of the questions that has come to mind, especially now that we're going on our third year here, and it blows my mind because does it pass quickly?
Yeah, it passed so quick. Yes. Yes. Next year I'm going on the 6th year. Can you believe that?
So have you applied for citizenship yet?
No, because I actually make 5 years of physically being here December 17th, 2020 this year, 2024.
Okay,
And
so
then
after that,
because my CEF appointment was pushed back because of COVID, I
Right.
actually don't make it until June of next year. So I will
yeah,
apply.
that's our thing too. So we have not been tax residents for that long because we moved here September 2022.
2022.
Our appointment was not until mid-June 2023.
And what month did you move?
Sept.
Oh, wow. Don't tell me it's frozen again. It kind of froze and came back though.
Okay. We seem to be doing fine right now. Usually it gives us a little bit of a warning and it starts
Okay.
tripping out on this, but this time it didn't do that.
Yeah.
It just went to the spinning thing, right? So hopefully y'all let us know that we're not frozen.
Yeah, we're
right.
good now.
All right. So what was the Black English speaking community? That's how I'm going to put it, because everybody's not from America. We've got friends in our Fin group from the UK and stuff like that, from the Caribbean and stuff like that. So what?
Okay.
Okay. This is an anomaly. What are we talking about that the enemy does not want us to talk about?
Exactly.
What liberation is somebody going to get from this conversation that the enemy does not want? Who is not supposed to be liberated today? Because this is some BS. We got Wi-Fi on. We got it. We are.
Yeah, we're wired.
We are
and
wired
Wi-Fi.
in.
We're all
you
wired
know,
in, and I have a strong Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
It's
this is not
strong.
you. This is us. Because if it were just you, then it we would still be on and you wouldn't, right? Like, so this is us.
Okay.
This is a us thing. All right. So Black community. What was the Black community like when you first moved here? So how far before the pandemic were you here?
3 months.
Okay. Okay. So it's not like you had a lot of time to get your feet on the ground. But I'm going to
Because
ask, even
Mhm.
then, or like right after the pandemic, what was the community like then? And what is the difference between then and now?
That is a very good question because I've just spoken to someone about this. The Black community was very small, very small. So most of the people that I met were not Black, unless they were native here, like Angolan, Mozambique, or,
Right.
that kind of thing. But no, most of the people that I interacted with and that I met were not Black.
Hmm.
Hmm. And now? Now?
Now, 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 And now I have a mixture of Asian, I have a mixture of Black, I have a mixture of Caucasian, I have a mixture of, African, Indian. Is really, and one thing too that I got involved in, and it was through a couple that was already here, or they might have come the same year that I came, but we got introduced together because most of the people you're meeting online,
Right.
that's how
Right.
you're meeting people when you move. And so um, we met, and then they had a Facebook group called POC, People of Color.
Okay.
I know that
And
Facebook group. We're in there.
exactly. And so I became a moderator with them as admins. And then I started meeting even more people that way. And they've since moved away. And so I'm the admin now.
I didn't know that you are now the admin of POCs in Portugal.
Yes. Yes. Me and Winsome Threadwell.
Okay. Okay. I did not know that. I don't, I found Black in Portugal first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because I literally typed into Google, what he typed into Google was Black people in Portugal.
Hey, it worked.
and
Yes.
and because Spain, we were going to move to Spain.
See, okay.
And it was during the pandemic. A lot of you all already know this story, but there's always people who didn't and who don't. And I love geography, so I had a world map on my board, and he was looking at the map and he said, "Huh, Portugal's right next to Spain. Let me check that out." Now I'm working; he's furloughed, so he got in it down in his man cave. He got all the time in the world to do all the Googles.
Screens
Yes.
everywhere. I was looking.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and he had a big screen, hooked up to his
I love it.
laptop, and Black people in Portugal. And so he found Black in Portugal, and he found Our Rich Journey. And he's like, "You got to check out this young family and blah, 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 whoop de woo, and this and that and the other. And they're from the Bay Area." And I'm like, "Portugal? He started the slave trade. We moving to Spain. Because I'm taking Spanish. Not that like Spain was a better colonizer than Portugal. Let's just keep it real. But,
Yeah.
I'm taking Spanish. Damn
Mm-hmm.
it." Don't come to me with some new ideas.
Hey,
Yeah. And so, I did a Google walk around Portugal, do it, how we do, and looking at the signs, and I was like, oh, it's very, very similar to Spanish. And I can read it. So, okay, I can keep taking Spanish, and that will help me with my Portuguese. Now, everybody does not have that experience when it comes to Spanish versus Portuguese, but for me, it really, I know, because we had this conversation.
We
It has
did.
really, it has really, really helped. And so, and then from Black in Portugal, then Facebook fed me POCs in Portugal, and friends and Americans and friends, whatever that other one is in Portugal, et cetera, et cetera. So you guys, I'm bringing all of this up to say this is a very important part of moving abroad. Don't you think? Like finding the community before you get here, at least virtually,
yeah.
so you
Yes.
have some kind of network when you hit the ground, and you have people that you can ask questions to,
Yes.
right? Where do I find this? How can I find that? Et cetera, et cetera. Um, was there something special about Portugal? Because I'm sure you've traveled to other places that was like,
Yes.
and besides the ease, like we can go to all the objective things, but if it doesn't vibe with you, it doesn't vibe with you. Like,
It
at
doesn't.
the time, better taxes, better tax scheme than all of the other nations at the time that were
Yes.
trying to move people, right? Shorter path to citizenship. Like we can go lower cost of living. We can go through all the objective things, but either you like it or you don't. And those things then go by the wayside.
Yeah.
So what was it about Portugal?
So besides the safety, I mean, safety was high on my list. Remember, I had been traumatized. And I just love the way people connected. But I've always had connection in my life, no matter where I've lived. But I love that people wanted to get together, no matter what color they were or whatever. They just wanted to get together. We had come here on common ground.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we that's exactly what we did. We got together. It was peaceful. People helped each other. The first group that I joined before I moved here was American and Friends.
American Friends, yeah.
And yeah, because they were here a long, long time. I don't think BIP was here during that time,
It
and
was called something else, I think.
it was. I don't quote me, but I think it was not black
Black,
in Portugal, but
black
black
to Portugal.
to
Black to
Portugal.
Portugal. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah. And it was really small back in the day.
yeah, and it grew substantially.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
PLC was very, very small as well, so it grew. But yeah, I think that was so appealing, and I thought that this was the most beautiful city. I love the colors of the building. I love the cobblestone. I hate the cobblestone today, but I did love
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship with the
it.
cobblestone.
Is. But I thought it was I thought it was just so beautiful, and the weather was just perfect for me. I never wanted to move to a country where it was just warm all the time. I always like experiencing, all of the seasons, and that really appealed to me to have the different seasons here.
Yeah. And when we talk about different seasons, folks, that doesn't mean you're shoveling snow, because one person's
Exactly.
version of different seasons and another person, like in Southern California, I thought we had four seasons until I moved to Denver.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then I
And
realized we have spring and semi-spring all year round.
all
but
year round.
but you're right. Like wintertime is chillier, it is more rainy.
Mhm.
And I would say that fall is warmer than spring,
Right.
right? And one thing that I love about Portugal that maybe we had in Southern California, but I hadn't lived there in so long, I don't remember, is the fact that there's still leaves on the trees. Like if we were in Denver, the leaves would be
Mhm.
gone by now.
Mhm.
The leaves would be gone by now, or
Yeah.
they would be orange and yellow already.
Mhm.
And
It's
so,
very lush.
besides, it is
Yeah.
lush. It is lush, and because it's relatively warm all year round, you have vegetation that remains green all year round,
Yeah.
as opposed to Denver, where it has to maintain through freezes,
Mhm.
through
Mhm.
snow and freezing temperatures and all of that stuff. So,
Right.
yeah. Um, do you find that you are more social now than you were right after the pandemic, when there weren't as many English speaking expats here
It's
or
so funny
immigrants?
because I am a very extraordinary social person. I've
Okay.
been that way since I was a little girl. And so in the pandemic, the friends that I met, of course, we take walks through each other's neighborhood. We get on text, we text them and say, I'm outside your window, and we talk outside the window because we couldn't come in each other's house, right? So yeah, highly social.
I love that. I love that. And you know that we have a friend that lives close to us who showed up at the uh, registration drive that we were doing. Not registration, but get your vote in, get your ballot in from abroad drive.
Right.
And And I always text her as I'm passing by. It doesn't occur to me to like text her before I get there, and maybe we
Yeah,
can have a quick chitty chat, right? Oh,
exactly.
there's her house.
There's our house. Us as being from New Orleans, we say we're gonna pass by your house, and people say you're gonna pass and you're not gonna stop.
You know.
We're gonna pass by your house. Okay?
Right. We'll have a little chitty chat, and then we're gonna keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
And then we're gonna keep it moving. All right, let's see what people are asking. All right. I find you are only alone if you choose to be. You have options. I like that,
Exactly.
Diane. And it's very true. You know, for those introverts, because Karen has already said that she is an extrovert. And I think I'm an extroverted introvert.
So ambivert.
I'm an introvert.
Ambivert.
Yeah, you probably. I'm definitely an introvert, but I can be an extrovert when I need to be, and I do enjoy people. I really do enjoy human beings. I really, really do, and I enjoy my alone time too, very, very much. You
And I
know,
do too. Someone has on here about loneliness, and I always say, and I've said this as a little girl, I may be alone, which I have been most of my life. I'm alone, but I'm never lonely. I don't know the emotion of loneliness.
yeah, I cannot say that I've experienced loneliness too, and I think loneliness, sweetheart. I think that loneliness is not about the people around you, but I think it's more of your connection, the connection that you
Yeah,
feel to other
yeah,
human
because you can be in a
beings.
room full of people and
Eh,
have
Yes,
loneliness.
right.
So it does have a lot to do with your person yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
and we have such a community here that I know if I'm going through something that that I've got a crew that I can call.
Hmm.
Yes.
And I experienced that today with one of my sisters who I'm looking forward to celebrating her 50th anniversary, her 50th
Birthday.
birthday. And we were going back and forth, and I realized in the exchange how much we get each other and appreciate
Yeah.
each other and
Mhm.
recognize each other's flaws, or I'm gonna say my flaws. She recognizes my flaws. and and loves me anyway, right? And so
Exactly.
knowing that
Yes.
means that I'm never lonely, even if I haven't spoken to her in a few weeks.
Exactly.
Right. And she's not the only one. If she's watching, she knows that I'm talking about her. But I can name 4 or 5 other sisters
Yeah.
that I have here that
Me
I
too.
know will love me in spite of my BS. And
Yes.
so, yeah.
And we
And
still maintain the connection in the US. I mean, I have friends that I have been friends with since I was 2 years old.
Hmm.
That
yeah,
is a lot of years. And
yeah,
because our families were friends, then we became friends and from the crib, and they come to visit me here. When I go home, we get together. There's no missing beats. It's a wonderful. And then I've developed friends here that I've known now for 5 years that I could trust with my life. I could trust with the key to my apartment. I could trust, those
oh, yeah,
those people, and they're going to be here no matter what you're going through. And of course, we move here, and that doesn't mean that we don't experience heartaches, health things, and my friends, my community, or our community has stepped up and said, I got you. I've got your back. And
Yeah.
that is just amazing that I've met these people in the last 5, 4, 3, sometimes 2 years, and they've loved me through all of
All
what
of
I've
it.
been through, all of it.
And so I'm not going to give away the punchline. Karen Beverly is speaking at the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. I have put the link in the chat and it's pinned to the top there. And she's going to do some of what she's talking about is that she had a serious medical experience here in Portugal. And if you want to know the whole story behind it, because we're going to couch that between two ways. One is how the medical system works, and then we are going to talk to two people who have had or are having. I'm not talking about the cold or the flu, y'all. We're talking about
Or
we're
COVID.
talking
Or
about
COVID.
or even COVID, right? Like, I mean, that's serious. That can be very
That's serious.
serious, right?
That's
Especially back
serious.
in the day.
Yeah.
Before we had the vaccination or whatever. But very serious medical situations and how they dealt with the medical system. So if you are wondering about that, this is maybe one of the reasons why you want to sign up for the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. That information is in the description below and is pinned to the top of the chat. So if you're watching from the future, hey. You do not have to wait for the chat to show up. You can look in the description below and get that link. All right. Let's move to the next question. Karen, do you think your senior status was an asset for adapting or settling into your life in Portugal? Oh, interesting. That's an interesting
That
question.
is a very interesting question, and I haven't really thought of it, but right off the top of my head, I must say, because I've matured such a way, I think I can say yes. However, I have young friends that are here, and I admire what they have done to move here in their 20s, in their 30s. And I didn't have that vision to do it at that age. I thought I had to make money in the US, had to raise my
Right.
son, and then I could come. But they found a way to do it.
To
And
do
I
it.
admire that. Yeah, I admire that.
We probably, well, no, I'm not going to speak for him. I probably may have been one of those parents who said, I have to wait until.
Yeah, I did.
Even though I was adamant, like our first true international trip, and when I say true, is like, I don't count the Caribbean, y'all. I don't count that. Like you do, especially not on a cruise, right? Like
No.
even though you need a passport to do the cruise around whatever Caribbean, the Western, the Southern, whatever, I don't count that.
I had to count it because I didn't have no money in my 20s. That's the only place I could go.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I would have counted it in my 20s, and I counted
Okay.
it when we did it. But looking
Yes.
back, I
Okay.
realized
Yes.
that it was fun. It was like, loved seeing all them Black people on the island and all of that. But
Oh,
it
yeah.
didn't broaden my horizons into how other people lived because it was a very touristy thing. It wasn't,
Right.
it wasn't like traveling, staying in a place for 3 weeks, going to the grocery store and doing this and that, right? And so our first trip like that was South Africa. And I was adamant that our youngest son went with us.
Mm-hmm.
Could we afford that? Hell no.
No.
Yes.
Charge it. That's what ain't that what
we
credit
made
cards?
it. We made it happen.
Ain't that what credit cards are for?
American Express made it happen.
American Express said, "Don't worry about it, boo.
Yeah, we
We got you."
We
As a
got
matter
you.
of fact,
Yes.
you ain't even got to pay for this at the end of the month. We're going to put this on the payment plan. We're going to put this trip on the payment plan. That's all I needed to hear. So the three of us went traipsing off to South Africa. This was part of my graduate program. And I was like, there's no way that I'm going to the continent of Africa and
So maybe I can answer Greta's. Uh, do you feel more alive and younger since moving to Portugal? I've always felt young. I've always just looked at my life as I'm going to be young until I die. So I hope that answers your question. As far as the language is concerned, I've completed the classes for A1, A2. So I have the certificate. So when I decide to become a citizen, I already have that requirement done.
Thank you for carrying the ball for us, Karen Beverly. You didn't know that you have to be a host as well, right?
God, I can't
Well, no, listen, the sweet young lady said, keep talking, they'll be back. So I said, okay, I'll try.
I mean, we have not experienced this kind of disconnection. Like, it's happened before.
nothing like this.
Once or twice in the past 2.5 years since we've been here has it happened
Yeah.
like this. I don't know if they're digging in the street somewhere. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. And I just thank you, our Black Utopia family, for being so loving, so forgiving, so gracious, and allowing us to keep this conversation going through the technical difficulties. I am starring your questions, and thankfully it is keeping the starred questions. So I don't think that I am losing those. Did you want to get down? Did you do what you needed to do down there? Okay, baby. No shots required. Okay, I think there's one more, blah, blah, blah. And I just looked at POC in Portugal. Thank you. You're welcome, Diane. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Y'all, I have told you about POCs in like I mentioned 3 Facebook groups on a regular, and that's Black in Portugal, POCs in Portugal, and Black Americans in Lisbon. I mention those all the time, y'all. Now, I mention Black in Portugal more than the others, but I still mention them all of the time. Okay, so I'm going to unstar that. Let's see. I would like to know what shots do you have to come there, or are they required? So we've kind of answered that.
You don't have to have shots coming in.
Look, I'm so spoiled, Dina. We're about to go to Thailand in a month and a half, and it just occurred to me about a week and a half ago that we may need shots for that. So,
oh, really? In Thailand? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk to the person whose birthday and see what shots she got, and then I'm going to talk to Serenity. So and they will be talking at the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit here in Lisbon, in Portugal. There is a medical concierge service which will help you with navigate the medical care system. And I tell people, if I were 30, I probably wouldn't have been worried about it. But when you get a certain age, and I don't want to, it's nice to have someone who is not being paid by the insurance companies, not being paid by any clinics, to suggest doctors and such based upon what their clients are saying, the experience they've had from these doctors who can also speak English. And so that's why we go with Serenity Care, and we just re-upped, and it was a little bit more expensive, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, but
it goes up every year, probably, right?
Yeah.
No, not the first 2 years. It didn't. But it did the third year.
We grandfathered in.
Yeah. Maybe we grandfathered in.
Yeah, we grandfathered
But when I was having problems with my insurance company, they got on the phone with me. And they speak Portuguese, right? And so I didn't have to worry about that. All right.
And we'll talk about my experience in the summit. But yeah, at the time I came, it was so totally different. So I didn't know about Serenity, and it's been a good navigation to.
I don't think they existed back then.
Probably.
I don't think they. Yeah, I don't think they existed. I think that they came about during the pandemic. When we signed up with them, I think they had only been around for about 3 years.
Yeah,
Mhm.
something like
So not when you came, but maybe by the time you could have used their services. Hello, Rick, Halisi, and Karen. I arrive in Lisbon alone next Thursday. Beverly, the 24th at approximately 3:10 p.m. Is there anyone to meet me at the airport and have coffee before my Uber ride to Coimbra?
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to put that out there. Beverly, you know we are getting ready for the summit. So unfortunately, it cannot be us. But I'm going to connect you with our friends in Coimbra. All right. And let us know if you are going to be, how long you're going to be here
that. Mm.
privately, unless you want to let the world know. And, I wouldn't mind going up to Coimbra after the summit. So if you're still here after the summit, a quick train ride up to Coimbra. I love Coimbra.
Oh yes,
I don't want to live there, but I love visiting
Me
Coimbra.
either. I do too. I love visiting.
Yeah.
And we have the
I'm,
same friends there.
yeah.
yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, and,
So we
and this
might
is
have to meet up there.
right.
Yeah.
This is the tight community that we have here, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. There is something endearing, and I was listening to Trevor Noah's podcast today, and we were just talking about humanity and this and that and the other, and we were talking about the difference between politeness, friendliness, and kindness. And no, I'm gonna tell you, Portuguese folks are not friendly, but they are kind. And that
Mm-hmm.
to me is more important than a perfunctory hello. And
Right.
I know when I walk up and down the street smiling, because I live in Lisbon, y'all, and I'm still
They're not smiling.
smiling. They're not smiling. They're like, who is this crazy woman?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
boa tarde, boa tarde, boa tarde. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
but most of
okay.
them have that. They have that serious look on their face.
They
Yeah,
do.
Most of
Yeah.
the time, they have a serious
they're
look on
thinking
their face.
about what they're thinking about. They may be listening to something. Who knows, right? But yeah, that nice nasty thing that they do in the United States where they're polite and then they stab you in the back. That's not a thing here. As far as, well, they might stab you in the back, but they're not but they're not going to be saying hello to strangers like we do in the United States. All right. So Jess asks, what is your favorite thing to do in Lisbon?
Travel. That's in Lisbon. Um, so Portugal is the favorite thing to do in Europe is to travel. Okay. So but you ask about Lisbon. Favorite thing to do in Lisbon. I like taking recipes from Lisbon, Portugal, and making them Cajun style.
Ooh.
Didn't you do something the other day? And I said, make sure you let me know.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you posted stuff, whatever you made, you posted it. And
That
I
wasn't
was
the oxtails, was it? No, that
No,
no,
was
that
it
was
you.
was a
Alex posted oxtails.
Okay.
But Karen posted, I forget what it was now, but it was like
it was a
my mouth
spaghetti
was
dish.
watering.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
yes,
a spaghetti, a multi colored spaghetti with beef and shrimp because that's something that you don't really combine together necessarily. But I
yes.
do and add all of my Cajun spices and stuff.
I love it. I love it.
But I love
So
walking. I love walking here in Lisbon. I love the sunset cruises, but I've done too many of them, so I, got to find something else to do. Um, when you come, you just doing all this stuff. Yeah.
we haven't done too many sunset cruises. We need to
We
do
haven't done
that.
any sunset cruises.
Well, the birthday party was a sunset cruise,
Oh,
but
okay, but
besides that, we haven't. Yeah, we need to do that. So maybe you need to do the sunset cruise with new people,
That's
and that,
true.
and,
I will. I'll
right,
do it with you guys. I'll do
and,
it with
and
you guys.
and let us know what's what. Um, Absolutely. So, for those of you, so I met Karen. I don't know when I met you. I remember the first time I realized who I was meeting, and that was at Alfreda's birthday party. and she turned 49. And we had it at that restaurant where they have the comfort food, like the fried macaroni and all of that stuff. I can't remember the name of that place. And then we went to the gin bar afterwards.
Right.
Yes.
This was April 2023. And the only reason I remember is because a girlfriend of mine from Mexico was here, and she was here because of our meetup, which was April 2023. And
that's right.
And
and she had interviewed me, I think. Yeah.
okay, all right, yeah. That's Adelia, and so it was me,
Yeah.
and then Twana, and you were sitting right next to Twana.
Yes.
And that was the first time I had met you, and I was like, "Oh, so you're Karen Beverly, okay?" But but where we started talking is a friend of ours had a dinner party, and now just like a man, he gonna have a dinner party and talk about gumbo. Ain't made gumbo yet, but he gonna enlist some women in the list to make the gumbo for his dinner party.
Yeah, and I have to we have to bring our pots, we have to bring everything, made it in our homes and then brought it there. Oh yeah, that was something. But we did it because we love him. We love him. That's why we did it.
We do, and we love our community. Right,
Yes.
we love our community, and so so Karen made a traditional Louisiana gumbo with the seafood and the meat. And y'all know I don't like no seafood. So whose gumbo did my husband eat? Not mine.
Shoot.
Not mine. So I made a sausage chicken gumbo, but and they don't have andouille sausage here, or maybe they do in the commissary. I don't know. I
No,
hadn't
no,
talked
no,
to
they
Heather
don't.
about that. Okay, they don't. So
Not yet.
I had to, right, like I had to work with what we had here, but it was still good. And there was somebody who didn't eat pork, so then I had to I had to put the pork on the side. And Karen was like, "You more gracious than I am, because I ain't changing my recipe for nobody. You eat it or you don't."
my friends in the United States would always ask me, because I've been, cooking since I was a little girl, and then can you make me some gumbo? I say, sure, I can make you some gumbo, because I'll cook for anybody, right? And they say, but I don't eat pork. I say, well, then you won't be having gumbo, because that's not my gumbo. It becomes somebody else's gumbo.
Right. Right.
Right. And there is something to that, because when you add the pork, it adds a certain flavor that you're expecting to taste. And so I
Yeah.
found myself over salting because that pork flavor wasn't in there. Now, once you put it with the rice and stuff, it was fine, and nobody complained. Everybody said it was good, actually.
It was
But
good. It was good.
to me, it was too salty, and I love salt. So Diane asked, what is your retirement experience like in Portugal? And I'm going to add to that. And how do you envision it would have been different had you stayed in Atlanta?
Well, I wouldn't be living in the place that I'm living now. I would have had to considerably downsize. I wouldn't be traveling the way that I am traveling now. Yeah, my money goes further here. The food is so inexpensive. Oh my goodness, I can go shopping. My girlfriend was here a few weeks ago, and we went to the grocery store. We bought all kinds of stuff: toilet tissue, vegetables. I don't buy meat at the supermarket. I buy it at the Mercado. But we bought all kinds of stuff, and 21 euro. And she said, "What? The toilet paper alone would be 21."
Yeah.
That part, right? Even like they don't have the big 25 roll things in the normal grocery stores here. All right, y'all. But they do have like the 9 roll, like, right? So the family size. And that would have been about $12 to $15 in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it is here, but I bought that plus some other stuff. I had to get some creamers, some milk, and this and that and the other. And I think it was 12 euro. We're so spoiled. We're so spoiled. We're so spoiled. Um, yeah. Okay. So Dina, we answered that. So you talk about travel. Where you been at? Where you been at, Karen?
Um, Italy, like Milan, Lake Como, Morocco, of course, all over Portugal, because when the pandemic happened, that's the only place that we can act after we came from lockdown. That was the only place we could go because we couldn't go, nowhere else. And so I've been all over Portugal. I just came from Nice. Um, been to Spain. Um, going to Venice in November, going back to Spain, another part of Spain in February, going to Holland and Amsterdam in April. So like every 2 to 3 months, I'm going somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so in Portugal, what is your favorite place to visit?
I would say the Alentejo region, because of the winery. Yeah, yeah,
Wine.
Okay.
the wineries.
Let's
So
just call a
I had
spade a
the
spade.
opportunity. Yeah, I had the opportunity during the pandemic to do like 7 wineries in the Alentejo area, and I fell in love with Oyao. Like I wouldn't want to live there, but it's just a quaint city. I
Mhm.
love the beaches in Algarve. Um, it, it's not a place. Not There are not places that I've been in Portugal that I didn't like, but there are places that are one and done. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So I love Porto because of the way that the river is beautiful,
it is
It's just
beautiful.
Mhm.
gorgeous. But I wouldn't want to live there. And
Me either.
you know, and I don't want to continue going. Now, there are places that I continue going to, like Madeira, because I have
Mhm.
friends there. So it's a
Okay.
difference once you do the touristy thing in those places and you have friends there, you can go over and over. I've been to Madeira 4 times.
Yeah. I think that there is a lot more for us to explore in Porto,
Hmm.
but I'm good with Avairu. The only way that I'd go to Avairu again is if we bought a place there. Um, it's a lovely town.
It's
It really
lovely.
is a lovely town. And you can get a brand new build or brand new rehab, 3 bedroom, 2 bath apartment there still for like 200 or less.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, now I don't want to live there, but as an investment property, if
Yes.
okay, now we're cooking with Crisco. But yeah, so I'm good with never going back to
Yeah.
Avairu.
Yeah.
But I do want to see the beaches off of Avairu. We never went there to see the striped
The
beach
striped
houses.
homes. Yeah,
Yeah,
those
so
were
so we
nice.
did so we didn't see that. So we probably will see Avairu again because I got to do that part. Um, and when we went to Evora, we did go to one winery, but I realized that there were, outside of Evora
Right.
were a lot of these other wineries, and there is a Stonehenge type of place right outside of
Outside of
Evora
Evora. Yeah.
that is older than Stonehenge. So
Mm-hmm.
there is so much in Portugal to explore that yeah, it really is something that you need to take your time, and we have committed, or I committed for us and he went along with it, that every other month that we're not traveling outside of the country, that we were going to explore a different town in our new home country.
Yeah, that's a good. So Jerish, go way up to the north to that
Please
national
don't let
park.
this
That
be
was
us.
beautiful. Huh?
Please don't let this be us.
What? What? That we're frozen again? No. I see you
Okay.
all. You
Which
my
national park? Are you
Jedish.
there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you. So I didn't know if it was us or you. So can you repeat the national park?
It's in Jedish,
Yes.
Gers, and it might be Jedish. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but
Gers.
Gers. And they have a national
Jedish.
park. It's way up north. It's passport to
Okay.
yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's
And
different place.
it seems to me that there are some beaches north of Porto too that are supposed to be really, really nice. So yeah, even though it's a small country,
There's a lot to see
there's a lot to see. There is a lot to see.
from top to bottom.
So Valerie asked, Karen, are you renting or do you own?
I rent. So have you all talked on your channel about how the mortgage runs here, and how
We
it's by age?
we have. So I'm just going to repeat for the folks who are newer to our channel that number one, a fixed rate loan, a fixed rate mortgage is not a thing in most of the European countries that we have explored. It's not a thing, y'all. Number one. Number two, here in Portugal, they will only give you a loan up until you're 70
Yeah.
or 72.
75.
They have age.
Okay,
Or
and okay, it's
75.
75 now. Okay, so it's
Mhm.
75. So that means if you're 65, you can only get a 10-year loan. If you're 60, you can only get a 15-year loan. So you have to be ready
Yeah,
to
you
make
can
those
get a
payments.
7-year. Yes.
You got to be ready to make those payments at that level. So, Valerie, so that's number one. Number two, I don't want to deal with that. And I cannot wrap my mind around an adjustable rate mortgage. Like
And
that.
what about the insurance, the life insurance policy? They ask you to
Right.
have a life insurance policy to secure the loan.
Right. Now, not every single mortgage requires that. Our
Mhm.
friends Alex and Jerry, who are friends of the channel, y'all know them. They managed to find a mortgage where they didn't have to get a life insurance loan. However, when they got the mortgage, both of them were under 60 years old. So that
That's
probably
right.
helped.
They're
That
youngsters.
probably helped. Well, it's all relative because I think that Alex and I are basically the same
They're the
age.
same age.
He
And
might
Rick
be
and I are about the same age.
yeah.
I might be a little
So
older than Rick.
exactly. So so this didn't have a Q in front of it, but I had to put it up because y'all, democracy is on the line in the United States. We need you to vote, and we need you to vote for democracy, for the person who is not saying that they're going to be a dictator on day one. They said day one only, and making other crazy stuff. So we were able to vote. If you are watching this and you are not in your home country, but you are from the United States, you can vote from anywhere in the world. You need to contact your county clerk and or your secretary of state for your state, for your home state, and make sure that you get your ballot. It is not too late in most states. So we voted 2 weeks ago and already got confirmation that everything was counted, signatures were good, and this and that and the other. And oh, Karen, I'm gonna bring this up for just one quick second because we had breakfast yesterday with some subscribers who are here, and one lady who has been a teacher for 50 years, y'all, and she just retired, bless her heart. And she was all, they gonna have to figure out how to keep AI from copying your signature in the future and turning in ballots for you. And I was like, oh Lord.
Whoa.
Now, I
Oh my
can't say that that's not a possibility. I can say it's not a possibility today,
right.
but
Oh
4 years
no.
from now, we
Yeah,
got to
they'll
keep
have it
hold of
figured.
this AI thing. We got to make sure that there are guardrails around this AI thing, y'all. It's fun and it's nice to have your AI create your term paper for you. But we saw the Terminator. We saw the Terminator. We know how this story ends
Exactly.
when computers start thinking for themselves. Oh my gosh. All right, Allison, I'm
And,
originally
and
from New York. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
yeah, I just want about the voting. I'm a Georgia voter, and I mailed mine in 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago today. And no, this is Sunday. 2 weeks ago yesterday. And it hasn't gotten there. But I'm on the phone with the Leo, the local election official. They know me by name because I'm calling every day and saying I'm on my voter page. It's not documented. Where is it? Can you look out for it? And they're on it. So there is a backup plan if I don't get it by tomorrow or Tuesday. If I don't
Mhm.
get that call or that text to say it's been accepted and everything, there is a backup ballot that I could do. So keep that in mind if you all haven't gotten your confirmation. Because we
Now,
don't have
did
long,
you?
16 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you send it certified mail or DHL or FedEx or something, or did you just send it
No,
traditionally through CTT?
CTT Azul International.
Okay. So is that some expedited service?
Well, not really,
Azul?
not really.
Okay.
Azul, it just tells it it's not
International.
expedited, international.
Oh, okay. Okay. Y'all protect the United States Post Office. I keep saying this
Oh my goodness.
because this privatized CTT is something else. We mailed the stuff for some for our one of our properties. It took the attorney. She got it like 4 weeks later.
Right.
So, and so I just keep saying, protect the USPS, please. All right. So Allison says, I'm originally from New York City, so I'm used to small spaces. Okay, good, good. Because
Okay.
yeah, New York does have small spaces. I remember that.
But there if you want bigger space, there are lots of apartments with larger spaces.
Yeah, and it's all about your budget
Yeah.
and large is relative, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
relative. Like if you're coming from a suburban house that's, 3,000 square feet, yes, they have 3,000 square feet single family homes, detached homes,
Mm-hmm.
and apartments, but it's going to cost
Mm-hmm.
you. It's going to cost
Mm-hmm.
you. So,
And where you decide to live. I happen to live in more of the center, but not the touristy center. So
Mhm.
it's
right.
a Trail Papa Compton area, and that's where I've chosen to live the whole 5 years that I've been here.
Okay. And so she is on the west side. We're on the east side.
I'm
On the
so glad
opposite.
you let me know your directions because I don't. Somebody said something about the east side the other day. I said, where is that?
So the castle is on the east side. Principe
Okay. Okay.
Real so to me the dividing line is Avenida Libertad because that's
Oh,
like
on
the tourist
west.
area,
Yeah.
right? And so
Hmm.
if you're towards Belém, on the Belém side of Avenida Libertad, to me that's the west side, and the opposite side is the east side.
Okay.
So west side. So
Yeah.
Campo Lead, y'all who are thinking about moving to Lisbon, Portugal, listen to, she said Lapa, Lapa. She said Campolide, which is Campolide. And I know those
And
areas.
Camp de Ric.
Uh,
Camp de
Campo.
Ric, you know, Camp de Ric. Well, that's how the Portuguese say it, but it's Campo de Ric.
Okay.
Camp de
Yes.
Ric.
Okay. Is that what they say? This is
Camp
why
de
I don't
Ric.
That's why I don't
That's right.
understand Portuguese, y'all, because the way I
Exactly.
say it, I pronounce thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So Estrela,
Mhm.
Lapa, and Camp de Ric.
Okay. And yeah, Estrella. Okay, so what's your favorite activity? What besides cooking and travel? Like, how do you spend
And
your
you know, like
days?
walking, I walk all over the city, and I'm doing Democrats Abroad right now, and that's all year. So you do that. I meet up with friends for coffee, wine, food. Now I'm one that don't like eating out every day because I cook so well. So I know people that eat out every single day, and I don't. But there are activities just like this weekend, and I couldn't go this weekend. They had the Tribeca Festival,
Right.
and I was
Tribeca. Yeah.
Tribeca Festival. I missed it. So festivals are coming here. You go to the movies, just like you do in the United States. You do everything
Yeah.
that you would do in the United States. You do here, and the good thing too is we can hop on a train for little to no money and go to a whole different city.
Yes. Yes. And you know, there are so many museums here, and there's probably so
Oh,
many
the
museums
museum.
in your home city,
It's
y'all,
true.
that you haven't explored.
It's
And then
true.
here, I think it's the first Sunday of the month where it's free. Is it the first or the last Sunday?
It's
I think it's the
it's
first Sunday.
it's the first, but I thought it was Monday, but you might be right. It's Sunday. Yeah, free.
Okay.
Free for
Yeah,
free for residents. Residents.
Right. For
right.
residents.
So you have to have a residence card, but not for tourists. Um, so I think Halisa's appearance on Exodus Summit has garnered some unwanted attention from fascists.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't know. I know that there was somebody in there talking about how come we haven't heard from a Trump supporter?
What? Okay.
Because we black, y'all. We black. We blackity black to black, y'all. Like, why would we do that? And like, this is not fair and balanced. This is, you know, in our best interest. So Action VJ says, how have you adapted to a new language? Are you learning to speak Portuguese?
Yes, for sure. Just finished the A1, A2 class, the requirement for citizenship. So what I do on a daily basis, speak Portuguese daily in my everyday. So when I go to the grocery store, I'm talking to them in Portuguese. When I go to the doctor, I'm talking to them in Portuguese. Anywhere, I'm talking to them in Portuguese. When I get my pedicure, everywhere to talk to them in Portuguese.
So you just took the class. So
Mhm.
were you speaking to your grocer, et cetera, in Portuguese a year and a half ago?
It was baby Portuguese.
Okay. Okay. So you were just learning kind of by asking and saying, how do you say this? And just kind of, integrating
Yes,
that. So this was the first formal kind of instruction that you've had.
yes, I did take online Portuguese
Okay.
last year, and then I started the class this year. When I was a
Okay.
kid, took Spanish and French. I didn't hold on to it, and so here I am today. You know, if I had held on to speaking Spanish or French, I would have been further along.
But I bet it started coming back when you didn't want it. Um, because I find myself like I haven't taken French since I was 20 years old, and it's
Hmm.
40 years ago. And why could I not remember? I just had my Spanish class the other day. I could not remember the days of the week. I was trying to tell her when I got sick. I had food poisoning last week, and
Yeah.
and only the French names of the days of the week came into my head. I couldn't remember the Portuguese names, not that she would understand them, or the or the Spanish names. It was French from 40 years ago. It's like, okay, brain, how are we working?
I know the
How
brain
are
is
we working?
something when it comes to the languages. Somebody asked about bowling and skating, and yes, it's a thing here. We have that here.
Okay, I haven't gotten to that yet. Um, I want to go bowling. I didn't know we had a bowling alley here.
It's in Colombo Mall. It's nice too, very nice.
Oh, you know
I
what? I
the
did know
P-
that.
you did know that because I had a POE event where I had the families come and bowl. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, we got to do that. We've got to integrate that into a regular thing. I suck at bowling, but it's
Me
so
too.
much fun.
I
But
know.
it's so much fun. I'm just going to suck and have my fun. So, do you feel more alive and younger since moving to Portugal?
No, I've always felt young, and people say don't look my age, but I feel the same. I really do. I hope to feel this when I'm 80.
Of course, you've been here so long that, Greta, it might be hard to know what you might feel like dealing with, what you would have to deal with in Atlanta right now at your age, right? Like just all of that vitriol and the
Yeah.
angst of being in the United States and all like it was bad when you left, but it's so much worse now than it even was in 2019. What do you think? Right?
Definitely.
Right? You have anything to add to this?
No,
You've been pretty
I'm
quiet.
I'm reading questions and listening.
Okay. All right. Um, so yeah, sometimes you get to a certain point, and so this is what I want to ask because I'm not sure if we're still in the honeymoon period, Karen. We've been here, like when I walk around, it doesn't feel new anymore. It feels like home.
Right.
So did you notice a difference between the honeymoon period where it's like, live here. Wow. And then a transition, was it smooth? Like it was like, okay. Or was there any moments of like homesickness, depression, or any of that?
I noticed that there was a switch from the honeymoon period. Like after I got the when I got here, I could get the 2 year residency all at one time instead of because initially it was 1 year,
1 year.
and
Yep.
then we could get 2 year and then the 3 year. So you got your head down, you're working on all the paperwork, and Lord have mercy, the bureaucracy will kill you. But anyway, that's a side note. Um, I noticed after that second year of getting all the paperwork done, the honeymoon was done. And plus, I had traveled all through Portugal too. And so that wasn't new anymore. So when I had people to come here to visit, I started saying, okay, yeah, y'all, I've already done that. So I can make arrangements for you to go, but I don't want to just keep
Right.
doing the same thing over and over again.
Right, right. Interesting. But no like homesickness, no remorse.
No, because I've always been the type of person that I make the best of where I am. Always. I've done it as a
Eh,
child. And so, no, I can say, people ask me all the time, what do you miss about the United States? I could say my seasoning, but my friends bring that to me. So it's okay for that. All right. But I must say, I miss my friends and family.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I miss my friends and family. That was one of the questions that people asked, knowing that I was over 60 moving here. And they said, well, you have an only child, which is a grown man, by the way, and granddaughter. How would you move so far away from him? I said, because I've done everything mother could do to set him along his way. And if you really look at it, he was in Colorado. I was in Atlanta. I'll see him maybe once a year. So
Exactly.
he can come here and see me once a year, or I could go there. So you for me, I think it's our time to live when you're retired, and for me, I just couldn't set aside my dream of moving to another country because my kid, grown man or grown woman, if I had a daughter, didn't want me to move. I just couldn't live my life that way.
Yeah, yeah. I think our youngest son was like, deuces. But I get to stay in the house though, right? Deuces.
Yeah, after I had been here 2 years, my son called me and he said, why don't you just move back to Colorado? I said, first of all, I never lived in Colorado. So I'm not moving back to somewhere I've never lived. And this is my choice. This is where I've chosen to live. And
Right.
you'll be
Why
okay.
would you give up the beautiful sunshine and beaches?
To
I'm
go back
okay.
to the snow.
I as a California
And go
girl,
back. Go back. I
right?
never been.
Been there, exactly. As a California girl who chose to move to Colorado because one, I ski and
Okay.
it was a lower cost of living.
Yeah.
So I consider California and Colorado my home. I moved to Colorado as an adult, but I think I matured in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I love Colorado. I do. I think it's a beautiful state.
Yes.
The politics there are progressive. They are
Mm-hmm.
accepting. It used to be the hate state, but that was back in the late '90s,
Mm.
early 2000s. At this point, it is very accepting and inclusive. We were one of the first states to codify marriage equality.
Mm-hmm.
We did the Crown Act. I mean, it is a progressive state,
Hmm.
but it's still in the United States, and it
Right.
snows. Now, if
And
the
it's
snow would just stay up in the mountains where it's supposed to
right.
be,
I ain't feeling the snow.
I'm
where
not
we
feeling the snow
ski,
either.
right?
And
If it would
people
just stay up there where we ski and not be in the city.
in the city, but you got it in the city. People ask all the time, does it snow here? No, it doesn't. But way up north, they tell me it snows, but I'm not going there.
I don't
Not in the
know.
wintertime. Not in the
Yeah.
wintertime.
No, 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 no. I have true friends in different stages of my life that have always been supportive, including my move abroad. That's good because,
Exactly.
I would say all of my friends were very supportive too and wanted to learn from this journey that I had. But if they weren't, it would not have changed my mind. So
Right.
sometimes, y'all, your friends' fears will be projected upon you because they
Right.
are fearful to do it. They are
Right.
fearful for you to do it.
Right.
Do not let their fears hamper your journey, your ambitions
Yeah.
to leave your home country.
13 to
Uh,
15 of my friends came here all at one time to visit me.
Wow.
Okay, first of
Yes.
all, okay, let me just take this
Wow.
down. This is how I know that I am an introvert and that you are an extrovert. I've
Yes.
never had 13 to 15 friends. I've had 13 to 15 acquaintances that I was friendly with, that I would even invite into my home. But I'm really, really careful about who I call a friend. The friend is I can tell my personal business, like that deep personal business, and I know it's
Yeah.
not going to
Yeah.
go any further, right? And so he's had one friend come visit him, and I've had
Okay.
one friend come visit me. I only got about two, three, four others.
Yeah.
you
Someone's
know
always visiting me. They're always visiting me. After they left, then the next year, 6 of my Louisiana friends came all at one time.
Wow. That's lovely. That is lovely. And interestingly, one of my dear, dear friends that I've had since elementary school, She hasn't been here, but her boo been here. We done been out to break bread with her boo.
Yeah.
two of her good friends
Mm-hmm.
have been here, and we have broken bread with them, but she ain't been here, right? So yeah, I even between Colorado and LA, none of my friends from LA have been here yet. So
Mm-hmm.
y'all invited. I done extend. You
Mm-hmm.
know who you are. I have an extended an open invitation. We've got a guest bedroom.
Oh,
So
and that's
yeah,
worth its weight in gold right there. And that's what I say too, that, I extend to my friends. I have a lot of close friends. I mean, they're loyal. They have just proven themselves over the years. Like I said, um, two or three of them we met in the crib. So, we have a 66-year-old relationship, and we've
right.
been, with each other all these years. But I only certain people can stay with me.
Right.
Y-
That part.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not afraid to say, no, you're gonna have to get an Airbnb. Now I can meet you out for dinner and stuff like that. I love being around people, but I'm aware of what behavior I cannot tolerate. Nobody
Uh,
sleeps on my sofa, okay? Nobody sleeps on my sofa. Because when I get out of my bedroom, I want to come into my living room, turn on the TV, drink coffee. Somebody's on your sofa, what you gonna do? You gotta stay in your bedroom, wake them
yeah.
up. So I have two extra bedrooms. Who can't fit in those two extra bedrooms?
Airbnb hotel down the street.
Right across the
Down the
street,
street.
there's one. Yes.
Now, see, I don't like people sleeping on my sofa because people sweat at night,
Yeah.
and that sweat gets into your sofa.
Do y'all like this conversation? We get into some heavy stuff.
Hey.
but our couch is a sofa bed. So to your point, still with the sofa bed, so now we don't have to worry about sweat getting into the sofa, but now there's a sofa bed. So yeah, we can't go into the living room, open
You can't
the
do it.
balcony door and have our coffee because we've got guests in there. It has been turned into a bedroom, right? So I ain't mad at you. Like, you get to a certain point and you like this is some stuff I will deal with and this is some stuff I won't.
Right.
Are there any Christian churches rather than Catholic? Ascension Ranch. This is a Western European country. And so I say that to say Western Europe is not that churchified anymore, even though this is a Catholic country in that Catholicism is kind of at the root of it. There are mosques, there are temples, there is a Jehovah Witnesses hall,
Oh, Kingdom
Mm-hmm.
Hall.
Kingdom Hall down the street,
Yeah, right around the corner.
There's,
right?
there's Anglican, because I attend one down the street in the British Cemetery. Beautiful, beautiful place that has lots of ethnicities, a lot of African people and other. But I have yet to find, and they're Christian churches that like more like what we call in the States non-denominational. But I have
Hmm.
not found a Protestant stomp down gospel singing. I haven't.
No.
So supposedly there is one close to Cascais. I think it's in Estoril,
What's the name?
supposedly. I will talk about that offline. I don't
Okay.
go to church. I consider I consider myself a Christian, but organized religion has kind of pissed me off. But
I
I do
understand.
have friends. I know, anybody who is a thinking person understands. But I love me some God,
Mm-hmm.
and so I will ask them. I've got some friends down in the Cascais area, and it's English speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly, I think there's a lot of Africans that go there. And so when we were down in South Africa, one thing that I noticed is they do church like we do
They do
church.
church big time. Yeah.
Can I get
Right.
a amen?
But
You
not
got
here.
for
Not
the
here.
Holy Ghost.
They'll have church
And
in
I
the
bet
street.
you the church in Kaish is affiliated with the church in Estrella. I bet you.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Yes.
So I will definitely ask, and we'll make that connection, because I one of our friends who has moved. She's been here twice, and now she's here permanently. And so I've got to get in touch with her. I haven't heard from her yet, so we've got to get in touch with her. So she goes to that church and has built a community and family down there in that area. So yeah, and then and her friends who we've met from there just joined POC. Thank you, Diane.
Diane, welcome.
Yes. How does attaining credit cards work in Portugal? Can
Easy.
permanent residents build a credit
Yes.
score in Portugal just like in America? Do they use a type of social security number?
Oh, credit
I don't know.
cards. Okay. Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
this is how I got a credit card here in Portugal. I went to my bank and I said, I want a credit card. And they said, okay, what do you want your limit to be? And I told them, and they handed me a credit card.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
it.
You just sign up for it.
So we
Yeah.
need to get a Portuguese. Well, see, okay, thing about credit card. I don't want a credit card unless it gives me something in return. So so the French hitter, um if it doesn't have points or something, I ain't
Yeah, it doesn't.
interested.
They don't.
It
I ain't interested. And that might just be an American thing.
Yeah, because all
Um,
I wanted for is when I do hotel rooms, rented a car, that's it, but we don't get points. Permanent residents build a credit score in Portugal. No, we have credit scores here.
yeah, it's a whole different
Yeah.
system. Now, if you're going to get a mortgage to French hit, they will
Yeah,
ask for your FICO score. They'll ask you to
okay.
pull your United States credit to see it, but it doesn't weigh the same here
Yeah.
as it
No,
does in the
Yes.
United States. So just keep
right.
that in mind.
The
We
social
have,
security number.
yeah. So and so I'm not into the Social Security system. I think Karen is. We the tax ID number that we talk about all the time, called a NEEF, is
Mm-hmm.
not like a Social Security number, because
Mm-hmm.
you can still identities with a Social Security number. You can't really do that with a NEEF number that you give out everywhere in front of God and everybody at the grocery store and
Mm-hmm.
everywhere else, right? And anybody could write down that number because you're always giving it out. And so that is not like the kind of tax ID number that we're used to in the United States.
Right.
Now, there might be, I don't know, did you get a number when you applied for Social Security here in Portugal?
No, so it's not the same. So, my
Okay.
social security comes from the United States. So it's totally different. That's on my social security for United States. But social security here, they were saying, oh, you need to get a social security number. So I applied. I haven't gotten the number yet, but I have no plans of working. So that, I don't need a social security, but affiliated with the social security is what we call the EU health card. And so
Mhm.
that means just to, we can talk more about this in the summit, but if you go to Amsterdam and you fall and you scrape your knee, you have this card where you can go into the public system and get treated for no money.
Yeah, yeah. And so is that different than the SNS number that we have?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
it's for the whole EU, countries.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so we answered that. Were you afraid when the pandemic came while you were in a foreign land? Ooh, good question.
Um, I was afraid because I had been healthy all of my life. I moved here when I was 63 and I had not even taken an aspirin or anything like that. So when the pandemic came, the Europeans moved slowly. They had to coordinate all of the vaccines and everything. So we were slow here in Portugal getting the vaccine. So I went back to the United States because I was afraid to get, people were dying, and I was afraid at my age getting the COVID. And, I had never been sick or anything. And so I went back to the United States, stayed a month, and I was afraid being there for a month, with COVID raging the way it did. So I stayed low key until I got both vaccines, and then I back here.
So you got the vaccine in the States and then came back?
Yes, the first two shots were in the States.
Oh, interesting. Because they were slow to get it here.
Yes. And I didn't want to take a chance, I had private insurance. They had done a better, less people died here and all of that, but I just didn't want to take a chance. I was just kind of.
Well, I'm not mad at you. I pissed some of my friends off during the pandemic because it's like, so no, I'm not coming to your event. And no, you cannot come into my house. If you want to come over here, we can be in the backyard. Thankfully we had a house with a huge backyard, right? And that's how we handled it.
Yeah. And that's how I handled it too. Nobody came into my house. The total lockdown, we had to be in the house at 1 p.m. Did you know that? 1 p.m. every day, we had to be in the house. So you go out, exercise, you go do your grocery, you do whatever you had to do, but your butt had to be in the house at 1 p.m. And they were monitoring the streets, and everybody. This is a country where people behave. We had social distances. Yeah. Everybody stood on those little dots. Everybody wore a mask in the stores and that kind of thing. Nobody was acting a fool. I don't want to wear a mask.
I was just about to ask. So who knocked over all the masks in the store?
Nobody.
And said, I'm not doing this in Portuguese.
Nobody. And the clerk will say, "Masca." Like people, you forget. So because you didn't have to wear them outside, you had to wear them in the grocery store. And masca. They say, "Oh, this school." That means, you know what this school means. That means I'm sorry. Yes. And they just immediately put on their mask. So everything was done in the house. That's when I realized, oh, I've got to have a bigger boat, meaning a bigger house, because my little house was like 77 square meters. And right. I thought I was going to be okay with that. And because everything was done in the pandemic, I was cooking every day because, the stores had closed, not the stores, the restaurants had closed. And so you went out and you got your food and everything. You came home and cooked, exercised, you watched TV or whatever. It was something.
Some friends of ours down in Oidish, forgive me if you're Portuguese and you're listening to me bastardize your language. I really do love the language and I'm trying. They moved here during the pandemic as well with kids. And so they have a deck. How big is that deck? Heck, that deck is probably as big as our whole apartment.
Goes around the whole apartment. Yeah,
right.
It's
Right. Literally, they've got like a swimming pool on the deck and
it's like a swimming pool. It's more like
a lap pool and a fire pit with the seating around it and a little, thing over it. What do you call those things that,
awning?
Awning type thing. Yes. And they did that because they realized with the kids and the lockdowns that they're going to have to go ahead and spend that little extra money because 1 p.m. lockdown like that's nice. These kids are bouncing off the satellites up in here, right? And so we are not going to be stuck up in here from 1 p.m. until 8 a.m. the next day or 6 a.m. the next day with these kids bouncing off the satellites.
Right.
right? And so, all right, I'm getting the last of these questions, y'all, and then we are going to wrap it up. There's a fly in here at night, which is so weird. I wish I was like Obama and I could just and get it, but I'm not that. I'm not
I
that
can't.
quick on the scale. I always pretend, and Rick looks at me and rolls his eyes, and he's like, "Keep dreaming, Halisi. Keep dreaming. You are not. Your reflexes are not that quick. You can try. You can try to act like it if you want to, but I'm not going to let you live in denial." All right. I am going through all of these. Oh my God. Okay. We're going to have to go really, really fast with these. Okay. And I'm going to have to keep my mouth shut because there are a ton of questions in this. Oh my God. Look at all these. But you said we've answered some of these.
Yeah, I think the first ones you want to try to answer.
Okay. Or they're just statements. So Greta wants to rephrase her question. As far as your current environment and living in America, do you feel more relaxed and at peace in Portugal than you would in America?
I do, because the gun culture here is so different than America. And now, don't get me wrong, I love going to America because when I go, it's a party with my friends. I try to go once a year at least, maybe sometimes twice. And it's just always, I have such supportive friends that we have a great time. It's hard for me to
Uh-oh.
leave America, but I just feel more comfortable here. I could walk out my door. What is it, 1026? There's a park, Estrella Park, just a couple of blocks away from my house. I can go sit in Estrella Park right now, have a glass of wine, and then come by myself and come home at midnight. And I don't feel anxious. I don't feel looked at. The racism in America, and I hate to say that, but when I walk down the street, nobody's looking at my brown skin.
They're not.
Nobody.
They're not. So, and does the kiosk? You have a kiosk in Estrella Park?
Yes, there are two, but
Does
don't go to the yellow one, go to the green one.
Okay, okay. Do they stay open late?
Midnight, yes.
See, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, we don't have our park is very small and it's really made for kids. The park down the street, I have no idea when their kiosk closed, but we have been at a kiosk very late at night that's in a park. And it's just, and again, people walking around, right? And there is a sense of peace. So much so that we've had the first armed robbery since I've lived here that I've found
Yes,
out about.
me too. Me too.
Okay, so she's been here for over 5. You heard that, y'all. She's been here for over 5 years. The first armed robbery. Does that mean it's getting less safe here? It's getting less safe around the globe as financial insecurities increase. However, you would have thought that the folks in our WhatsApp group,
Yes.
like it was January 6th, and there were like mobs and mobs of folks roaming around, like they were about getting extra locks and stuff. It's like, wait a minute, aren't you from Chicago? What y'all talking about? Like one armed robbery in the country
Yeah.
that we have found out about. And the WhatsApp groups don't let you not find out about it. Somebody in there is checking, keeping up with the news, right? In the whole 5 years since she's been here, in the whole 2.5 years since we've been here. So when we say that it is safe, it is safe.
It is safe.
All right. So she loves different seasons. All right, we talked about that. So many of the churches and this and that. I have true friends in different stages that have always been supportive, including my mother Rob. We talked about that.
Can I say to Diane that the coldest that it has gotten for me, and you all could speak to this, is 45 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And that's at night. Maybe once or twice during the day it's been that cold. Maybe. I don't want to say it hasn't, Um, but I can tell you this. My coat, which is not a heavy, heavy, heavy coat, it's not like a coat that you probably have in Britain.
Mhm.
But it is the coat that I brought from Denver. I've only worn it in the crux of winter and at night when we are walking around.
Mm.
Otherwise, it's too hot. It's just too hot.
It is.
Yeah, I've never worn my winter coat that I brought.
Yeah, he runs hot though, so that don't count.
Mhm.
This is Karen to Karen.
Oh, hi. Hi, Karen.
What dreams or bucket list items do you look forward to still fulfilling?
More
Ooh,
travel, more travel. Yeah, maybe
okay,
writing a book one day. I have a
okay,
lot. I have a couple of books in me.
okay. So, what is one of the places that you're like, I don't care if I don't go anywhere else, I have to see this place.
I have not been to Asia.
Okay.
I've been to a lot of places. I think 50 something countries, but I have
Wow.
not been to Asia. And
Okay.
so that's I gotta get there. Yeah.
Yeah. And
You all are getting
that's what I was talking to my girlfriend, my sister about earlier, this trip to Thailand. I'm gonna be honest, I am just anxious about it because I dreamt of going to Asia, so I know we were going. I've always known that I was going because my dreams come true, especially when they're that vivid. Um, but it's a totally different culture than Western,
yes. Mhm.
civilization, or so to speak. And then the alphabet are different characters,
Oh, yeah.
and
I'd tell her to get over it. She'll
and
be fine.
yeah, that's not. But what part of it is he planning?
It's not the planning. I'm not nervous about
It,
being there in that culture with different alphabets
I'm
and
not.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, it's the whole thing. It's the planning. Am I getting it right? It's the whole thing. I'm just a little nervous about it. Now I'm brave enough to do it anyway. So I'm
Yes.
really, really looking forward to it. But yeah, and we're gonna shoot lots of stuff, y'all, and bring back the deets on Thailand, on
Good.
Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket, and Singapore.
Yeah,
Um,
and then I'm gonna go sometime soon.
okay.
I've got to get
All
Asia
right.
under my belt. Yes,
Yes. And let us know. We might go back with you.
that
I
sounds
joined
great.
Serenity last week. My case manager nurse has an oncology background. See, that's what
Oh,
I'm
how
talking about. I also
nice.
have private health insurance through Imgen. So yes, I try to tell people, look, this is just the one thing on top of moving to a new country and learning how to work the dishwasher and the washing machine. You don't want your health care to be in the same position as how do I get money out of the ATM, which took me 5 times to figure out.
11 times.
Because look, I was putting the camera up trying to translate what I was
Translate.
seeing on the screen,
Yeah.
right? And then I've got the American thing going through me. Oh God, the line's building. Oh, they're gonna be pissed off. They're gonna start talking stuff. They don't care.
They
Portuguese are
don't
so
care.
patient, except for when they're
Real
behind the
patient.
wheel. And
That's
and
right.
right? And it was not translating. It was not translating. You don't want that same anxiety when it comes to your healthcare, y'all. I'm just trying to tell you. How far is Coimbra from Lisbon? Is there a sizable Black expat community in Coimbra? Um, Hi there, Olinka. There is a Black expat community. I'm not going to say how sizable it is or isn't because I am always meeting people who said, yeah, I've been here for a year and a half. I've been here for 2 years. I've been
Mhm.
here for 3 years.
Mhm.
And I'm just now meeting them. We live in Coimbra. We live in Mafra. We live on the Silver Coast, right? I, I know who I know in Coimbra. And I know that they hang out with other folks. I don't know who these folks are. But there are some amazing Black Americans in Coimbra that
Yeah.
are loving and
Hmm.
friendly and fun. and and gracious and all of that. That's what I do know. So if a smaller town is what floats your boat, it is a university town, so there is
Yeah.
some excitement there, some energy there. Young people always bring energy. um, then Coimbra might be the place for you. That university campus is amazing. It is beautiful. It was
Library too.
built like in the
Yeah.
right, the library, gorgeous. It was
Mhm.
built like in the 900s or the 1000s or something like that. It's one of the oldest universities in Europe. Um, the river and all of that is beautiful. They've got great food there. Now if you don't know where to go, then you're not going to
Yeah.
find it, so
You're
get
not
off the
gonna find.
tourist area, go get out of the tourist area. But you will find amazing food, affordable food. It's a lovely town.
It
I love
is.
it. It's too small for
Hour and a
me, but
half. Hour and a
yeah,
half to get
Yeah.
on the
there. About an
train.
hour and a half on the
On the
train.
train.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. And if you take the slow train, it's about 2 hours. But if you take the fast train that makes less stops, it's about an hour and a half. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. I love it. I really, really do. All right. Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan just purchased a home in Portugal.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
All right, we're gonna
Yeah.
get some royalty
I
here.
didn't know that.
Even though
Yeah.
they gave up their titles, that's okay. They still are Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan. I love it. I love it. There's a lot of celebrities that have homes here.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
say Madonna does.
Madonna does. What's her name? Just saw her in a movie. She's married to Keith Urban.
Oh, baby,
Oh, you guys don't know who Keith Urban is.
I don't know who Keith Urban is.
She used to
Halisi.
be married to Tom Cruise.
Oh,
Pretty.
Chick with the lips.
Jennifer.
Is it Jennifer or
No,
the one who did Tomb Raider and all of that?
no,
And
Tom
oh,
Cruise.
Tom Cruise, not
Oh,
Brad
okay.
Pitt.
I can
I
see
don't know. I
her.
don't keep up with
I
that.
got her. I got
I
her
Oh,
don't know.
face
somebody
in
Tom
my
said
head.
Cruise. Tom Cruise pissed me
Nicole
off a long
Kidman.
time ago.
Somebody said
Nicole
Nicole Kidman.
Kidman. Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
Oh,
Hmm.
oh yeah.
Yeah, she just bought a house here.
Okay, she's Australian, but yeah, um, and Australians. Okay, I think she's cool though. I think she's cool. Are you having a meetup in 2025? Hi, Evelyn. Yes, we are. It's always going to be the week of Juneteenth, the Monday and
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday of the Juneteenth week. That's when we
Mm-hmm.
have our meetup, and so you can plan your move to Portugal or your scouting trip around that.
Yes, around
Um,
that.
we are there. There is a sign up to get on the list to be the first people to buy tickets. It's in the description below, because last year we sold out of the boat trip. And so we have a reception, and then we have an excursion, and we sold out of the boat excursion. So you want to be the first ones to get the tickets. And it's very, very affordable. It really, truly is. So, yes, thank you for asking. Yoga Bliss. Greta had a great question. Greta's midlife money moves. Let me rephrase. Okay, yeah, we got that, Yoga. We
We
got
got
it.
that one. Yes.
Charmaine Costco. Oh, Charmin at Costco, $30. $30. Oh my gosh. I mean, I know it's like a lot of rolls, but the last time I was at Costco,
Oh
I
my
want to say
goodness, that's a lot.
it was like 1999 the last time I was at Costco. Now, granted, this was during the pandemic, or maybe before that I'm remembering, maybe 19 to $21 for the big thing that they got at Costco. $30. Y'all, Rick and I can go out for a white linen dinner. We can get starters, wine, dessert, and the entree for $30 or €30. So like 32
Yes.
bucks, 33 bucks.
Yes.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm here in Copenhagen, Denmark. Okay, so
Oh,
Karen Louise, she's a California girl. And so she's in Copenhagen on my way to Oslo. Why are you
Okay.
doing this
All
in the
right.
wintertime? You are very bold. Then
Helsinki.
Helsinki, Finland, is that how you pronounce it? For work? Oh, for work. Wondering if you have been to the Scandinavian countries. Any desire? I have a desire to visit every place that we can. And
Yes.
and be safe. And why do I put it that way? Like, I'd love to go to Russia. I would love to go to Ukraine, but it's just not safe right now. I'd love to go
No.
to Israel. I'd love to visit the West Bank, but it's just not safe now. Um, so yes, we do have a desire, but honey, baby, this is gonna be a summertime thing or a
Yeah.
late spring thing because I am boycotting that winter weather unless I have some boards strapped to my feet and I'm sliding down a hill.
Yeah, because going to Belgium, when it rained, it got cold.
And I was all up in my feelings
That
about
that
it.
that rain was cold. It was like, okay,
It wasn't like the warm rain that we have
no,
here.
it was cold.
Even London
And
and Berlin, you wait until
right,
the weather is good. Yeah.
right. So I might do late spring in the Scandinavian countries. And we were like, we went to Belgium. It was
It's September. Yeah.
early September, and it was
Mhm.
cold. Yeah. And then it had some warm days too. So it was doing the real fall thing, which cold,
Yeah.
and then it would warm up where you're taking things off. And, it had some beautiful, lovely days, but still, I'm like, we'll never be there in the wintertime. You can bank on that unless I absolutely have to. Galvanating, Karen, love it. Or gallivanting.
Gallivanting. Yes. I
Right?
love gallivanting.
All right? All those countries. I want to be like you when we grow up. 750 milliliter bottles with very good wine for $2.99. Yes,
There we
yes,
go.
yes.
All day long.
All day long. Because I just
All
bought
day
our
long.
favorite wine at Lidl for $1.99.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Did
if
you
you really
open it?
want to splurge, you get it
No.
for $4.99. You get a
Mhm.
$4.99 bottle that that may be like 18 euro, but it's on sale for $4.99.
Oh yeah.
And even the ones that are usually €4 to €5 regularly has the quality, y'all, of like a 15 to 30 dollar bottle of wine in the United
Oh
States.
yeah.
So yeah. Hi Karen. When going to Madeira, what was landing to and from the airport like? I hear it's scary.
It's not scary for me because I'm used to airplanes, not just commercially, but I've flown one. So it's fun. I mean, something you didn't know, but but going to I mean, they're experienced and they can land the runway. So it's no big deal.
And
So
Laura,
don't let that
very,
stop
very
you.
inexpensive. Do not let that stop you. Once you're
Yeah.
here in Portugal, flying from Lisbon to Madeira or Lisbon to the Azores islands is very, very affordable. Very affordable. Have we been? No. What we waiting on? I don't
Go
know.
for
I don't.
Christmas. They have the best fireworks show during New Year's Eve.
I
Oh my
know. I
goodness.
know. I
So
think
that's the
it's too
time.
late. I
It's too
think we
late
need
for
to
that.
make. Yeah, I think we need to make reservations for 2026. Plus, we'll just be getting back from Thailand. So,
Yes.
so Madeira will have to. Well, Madeira at its peak will have to wait for this year. But yeah, I don't know why we haven't been yet. It doesn't make sense. Um, I love the island life to visit, not to live.
Yes. Not to
Karen, in
live.
what area do you live and what made you choose? Okay, so what made you choose that area? So we said the area is Estrella, uh, Campo de
Laka
Arique.
and Camterique. So when I came back to get the house after exploration, I wanted somewhere that's flat. I wanted somewhere that had community, meaning you could walk out your door and you see the little vegetable markets. You could walk out your door, you have your seamstress there. You could walk out your door and there's the cleaners there. All of that packed into one neighborhood where everything was walkable, several grocery stores, you name it. So Compton met that, and it's flat. Oh, and the park.
So we live in Peña de Francia. It's not flat. It's not flat.
Once you get on top of the hill,
On top of the
once
hill,
you get to the top, it's flat.
and we are at
It's
the top.
flat. But you got to
So
come
it's
back
flat.
down.
But
Yeah.
that part. So we have all of that stuff. But to get to all of the grocery stores, you're going to do some hills. We've got 2 grocery stores with no hills, and then 2 other grocery stores where there's a hill. And
Yeah.
and unfortunately, you cannot find everything you need at one grocery store. And our farmers market, the indoor farmers market that they have in every neighborhood, the Mercado, is down the hill. It's down the hill. But it's down the easy hill. It's not down the hard. Well, it could be down the hard hill. It depends on which way you walk. Because we got a hill that's like 45 degrees, y'all. It ain't no joke.
And another reason why I chose it, there is a Mercado. They're sort of like in the US, the food halls. So we have a food hall there where all the vegetables, you have surrounding the kiosks where you could get food, sit down and eat. There's a butcher called a tauhu. There's a fishmonger. So they go to the Atlantic, they fish, and they bring the fish back, and you can choose all of the fish. You can have a different fish every day if you want fresh fish. They clean it for you. It's amazing.
Y'all, this is like the 1950s when it comes to food, or my imagination of the 1950s based upon the movies and the television shows. Let me put it that way.
It was always fresh.
So he remembers. I don't. I wasn't born.
Fresh vegetables, fresh, fish.
Yeah.
You went to the local butcher to buy your meat. You not necessarily went to the grocery store. You went to the local butcher.
Yeah. For the most part, the only meat that I buy at the grocery store is the rotisserie chickens. When I buy meat that for the most part, like I do buy chicken patty burgers, ground chicken from Lidl, because it's right there, and it's like, oh, let me just have these as a backup. But when I, for 80 to 90% of the meat that we buy is at the butcher. I don't eat fish, but he is welcome to go to the fishmonger here in Lisbon. And I it's probably like this all over Portugal, but I'm not sure. Every single neighborhood has an indoor farmers market, y'all, where local grocers bring in vegetables and things like that. And they're usually circular. And so there's lots of veggies, herbs, fruits, dried herbs, and all of that. Then you've got a couple of fish people. You might have a cheese person, cheese and sausages and things like that. The fish. And then around the outer part of the market usually are restaurants.
That's what she was saying.
Yeah, I know. I'm just explaining it a little bit more so that people understand. And this is every single neighborhood. I thought, oh, look, we got this. And I thought we were special when I first moved here. And then I started notice as we started walking around, I was like, oh, they got one too. Oh, they got one too. So I'm just assuming that every freguesia has their own Mercado. So as I said, I believe this is a Portuguese thing and not a Lisbon thing. I'm not positive. But yeah.
And they play live music also in there. So you get entertained. They have concerts.
Not in ours.
Oh,
ours ain't that. Okay, so every freguesia is not created equal, y'all. So
I walked in one night at my Mercado and just to get a glass of wine, have some dinner, whatever. And there was a New Orleans like brass band.
Wow.
In the Mercado.
Wow. That was just for you. That's why God
Yeah,
said,
well,
you know what? Why don't you go to Bacata today?
Go ahead
Let
and
me
eat some wine and come eat.
let me show you a little something something. So
yeah,
Shara, we cannot wait to have you in the summit. And as you see, we've got amazing people who have lots of experience with Portugal who are going to be speaking at this year's Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. Y'all, it is less than 2 weeks away. If you do not
wow.
have your ticket, get it now. Get it now, because when it gets to be a couple of days before, the price is going to go up. So do not wait. Don't be that procrastinator like I am, because I am. I'm just going to be honest with you. Does the visa you have in Portugal allow you to spend extended amount of time, months in another EU country?
No. You can do extended time, but it's basically, I think I've tried to calculate it. You can only be out of the country on the D7, which what I have. Um, in a 2-year period, I think it's 8 months.
Yeah.
So break it down, 4 months the first year. So that's roughly what, 80 days or something like that you can do. But you think about it, 80 days is a lot
That's a
to
lot.
be gone.
It's a lot. And here's something else, Nichelle. And then when you get on the 3-year, it's 8 months for that 3-year period. Okay. I was talking to Krishan, who's our business partner for the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. And she's like, do you find now that you live here in Portugal that being in another country is not as exciting as it used to be? Like after a week and a half or so, you ready to come on home? I'm like,
Oh
okay,
yeah,
I thought it was just me. I
yeah.
thought it was just me. Like when you live in so it's two things, right? One, we're not going home to go back to work. I'm sure that's part of
Right.
it.
That's
And
part of
then
it.
two, we live in a place where people come to vacation. And so, being home now doesn't feel like it felt when I was going home to LA, when I was going home to Denver,
Mhm.
right?
And can I add, we can pop to Spain, we can pop to Nice, we
Yeah.
can pop to Venice, we can pop to wherever we want to pop to for little or no money.
Right. For little or no money. So, like an extended weekend, what we call those 3-day weekends, 4-day weekends, you know, you can do that. Like, oh gosh, you want to have I feel like some good pasta. You want to just pop over to Italy right quick, and literally, if you don't have a bunch of luggage, you can do that for 20, 30, 40 euro
Mm-hmm.
round trip, y'all. Round trip.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, the post office might not be that great at times, but it's definitely yeah, you do not want to privatize it, y'all. I'm just trying to say, listen to Pinky.
Oh, you
Listen to
don't.
Pinky.
It took
Uh,
me, 3 months. Somebody sent me a birthday card. It took 3 months to get here.
Yeah.
uh,
Christmas card.
right. Our
Yeah.
grandkids' Christmas card
We got it in the summer.
or late spring, something like that. Seriously, y'all. And they used to have a public system. And talking to my Portuguese friends, they had a public system, and they, 1 year, unfortunately, voted in these very, very conservative, and they privatized it. And according to our friend, it's like he ain't received a letter yet since then, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
Karen, are you close to public transportation in the metro?
Yes. The metro that I'm close to is Hatu, Rato. Here in Portugal, we don't pronounce the R, is pronounced sort of like a H. So Hatu. It's a 10-minute walk. People don't like my area because they want the metro to be closer. But come in the short near future, the metro will be just 2 blocks from my house. And I have 4 public buses that are on my street, right across from my apartment, that I could go anywhere in the city. The 25E is one of them, and it takes me all the way to Castelchore, and I hop to the ferry, go to Cascais. So that's, one bus that will take you 10 10 minutes down the road, get on the ferry, get on the train, and you're where you're supposed to go.
Yeah, yeah. It really the infrastructure here is amazing. And so even if you're not close to the metro, we did a video called Getting Around Lisbon, y'all. So go check that out. What we did
Good.
not know when we made that video was City Mapper,
I love
CITYMAPPR,
City
City
Mapper.
Mapper.
City Mapper is
It
great.
it
It's
is
great.
a lifesaver. It is a
It
lifesaver.
is.
So because it took us a year to really get the bus system.
Yeah, and we have a, well, I consider her a friend now, but she was here visiting. She's here visiting with another lady, and she was telling us, well, the climbing those hills was getting to her. I said, get on. Do you have City Mapper? I said, because it will let you know you ain't got to climb all those hills. It'll tell you if buses or whatever is running that way and guide you along the way. And she's like, really? I was like, yeah, get City Mapper.
Yeah,
It's so incredible when I discovered that the actual stop number was on the sign. So
Yes.
it prevented me from going in the wrong direction. I'm
Yeah.
so happy, so delighted.
that part. And then the other thing, y'all, so they're redoing the stops. Some of the stops have electronic signs that tell you when the next bus is coming. Well, most bus stops here, and I guess this was true in the United States too, have 2, 3, 4, 5 buses that might stop at that stop.
Mm-hmm.
So it tells you. But for the ones that don't have the electronic sign yet, it has a sign that says text this bus stop number to this number, and it will tell you when the next buses are coming. So, pro tip for Lisbon, but get City Mapper, and it will. So, Campo de Ourique.
That's it.
Campo.
Yeah, but you pronounce Camp de Rique. You don't say
Campo.
de Rique. You run it together, smush it out, Camp de Rique.
Campo.
Exactly.
Just that real fast.
Camp de Rique. Yes. Do y'all think 10-minute walk to metro is a long way? 8 to 10 minutes?
It takes us about that long.
No.
Right. And
No.
so many people,
especially not flat.
Yeah, so many people before I moved here, they say, well, I don't want to live in Camp de Rique because there's no metro. I said, it's just 8 to 10 minutes away to walk, because we do a lot of walking here too. That's another thing.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. It keeps you younger, keeps those muscles going.
Yeah, we have to walk to the metro.
Yeah, Diane, there is not a walkable neighborhood in Lisbon proper. Now, if by walkable you mean no hills, but
Camp de Rique is pretty much that way, and everything is contained. But once you get out of Camp de Rique, even coming to some parts of Lapa, there are hills.
Yeah, I mean, I don't consider hills not walkable, Diane. So I guess it's all relative. But
that's what you're
to me, walkable means sidewalks.
Yeah.
Nice sidewalks, right? And even like in Grasa, the sidewalks get this narrow, so it's a little touch and go there. But outside of the very, very historic center, the sidewalks are wide, and yes, there are cobblestone, but there's sidewalks everywhere. You don't, until you get out like near the airport or someplace like that, you're going to find sidewalks everywhere. So to me, and the other part of walkable means, in my opinion, that your necessities are nearby.
Yes, everything
right?
is here.
It's so hills notwithstanding. So I have not, we walk this city. I have not come to a neighborhood besides right outside of the airport that's not walkable.
Right.
Yeah, and that's industrial area and stuff over there.
Right. It's not even a residential area. Is clothes shopping a challenge? Americans tend to be bigger and taller.
No.
Well,
Portuguese are, this is all Portuguese.
And well, Karen's not tall. I'm not
No,
tall. Rick's not tall. But for those who are women who are like 5'10", 5'11", and they have like size 11 feet, you might find some challenges.
right.
I think if your size is like my size could be 9.5, depending upon the shoe. Ordinarily, it's 8.5 to 9, but I do have a 9.5 or 2 in my, if it's narrow at the toe. I have not had a problem finding any clothes or shoes here, but I'm average size and average weight.
So
As far as
I don't have a problem with my feet. I'm 7.5, 8, so I can find shoes everywhere. But I'm short. So the clothes here are long. They wear long, long dresses. And I would rather shorter dresses. So I prefer to shop in the US, Germany, Nice. Yeah. Then
interesting. See, see, most of the time it's the opposite. And and there is a easy shortcut for how you get around a dress that's too long. It's hard when it's too short. But yeah. So is bowling and roller skating a thing in Lisbon? So she answered that. I'm
mhm.
gonna have to talk offline because I know where the bowling alley is now. That's the Colombo Mall off the Blue Line. But I don't know where the roller skating rink is because I'm like,
Yeah, I roller skated when I first came, but I'm not a roller skater, so
okay, well, I'm gonna have to ask you where, and then I'll take video, y'all, and we'll let you know because I was that Venice Beach roller skater.
oh my goodness, this
I
is good.
enjoy, yeah. I enjoy reading. And are there a variety of bookstores? Do you recommend ebooks? Hey, Toysha, there's lots of bookstores, and
A
they
bookstore.
have bookstores, and they have book fairs and book festivals all the
all the
time.
time.
Right.
But they're not in English most of the
In your
time.
parks and stuff like
In the
that. They
Well,
have
park,
book festivals.
well,
in the metro
Principe
stations.
Real, Principe Real has one that has a lot of English books. There's another bookstore called Salted Books. I think I'm quoting the name. A lot of English books. Even Bertrand has some English books. Fanac. So
Okay,
we've got
yeah.
some.
But the main bookstores that I've seen, I haven't seen any English books. But what I do go there to find is kid books to help me with my Portuguese.
Yes, that's good.
It is taking a long time to get a D7 visa approved. Yeah, my D7 appointment was in DC July 24th. I was approved October 15th, 83 days. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, and pre-pandemic, you could get it approved in 25, 40 days.
Yep. Tawana got hers approved in 3 weeks.
Hmm.
We had our Frederica. Is not now. It's Portugal. Welcome. We had our appointment August 4th, 4th,
Mhm.
and we got approved October 25th.
August 4th and October 25th. That wasn't bad.
And then our appointment to get our residency card wasn't until June
Hmm.
the next year. Is it worth
Yeah,
it? Absolutely. Would I do it over again? Absolutely.
absolutely.
Bureaucracy. Bureaucracy.
Absolutely. Karen, has your son visited you in Lisbon?
No, he has not. But I let grown
Oh,
folks be grown folk.
he's so missing out. Um,
He is.
my 2 grown sons living their lives. My 4 grands, young adults, are living their lives and are in full support and happy for me and my move abroad. By the way, they have their own travel journeys. Oh, well, that's
I
good.
Yeah.
love that. I love
That's
that.
good.
Let me say something too. I don't know if this was Diane about my son. My son has not visited me, but the baby's mom, who he's not married to, it's my granddaughter's mother, has visited me. And my granddaughter visited me She's 9 years old. She visited me 2 years ago. One parent brought her. They left her with me for 2.5 months. So she was here for the whole summer and
Wow.
experienced her first island, her first Disney, her Disney in Paris,
Right.
Right,
her
right.
first, her first going to a book signing of a Black author. She experienced so many firsts. So I'm good with that. So
Yeah.
now she says, Gigi, when I come back, I want to go to Italy. I say, you got it.
Speaking of Gigi, we will be visiting Portugal in June. Will you have a meetup during that time? We are so excited. Hey, Gigi. So our meetup is in the Monday and Tuesday of Juneteenth week. So I'm not sure what the exact dates are, but you can look that up. I'm with Alicia, about who I call friend, right? I count all of mine on one hand. So do I. Everyone else is an acquaintance. So some are closer than others, but still acquaintances. Yeah. I mean, I'm an introvert. That's all I can say. And I have people here that I actually it's easier to be friends, real friends and family here in Portugal, because there's none of the nonsense. We ain't competing for no job. There's just none of the
Right.
nonsense, or no man, or any of that nonsense. I'm with you with the sofa. Look. you know, I'm not about that life. When we used to go visit grandmama and them, we would sleep on pallets and on the couch and everything during the
No air
holidays
conditioner. Yeah.
and all of that, but those days are over. All right, we're going to wrap this up. I plan to visit Portugal in June or July. Where's the best area and place to stay for 4 weeks? Toishia, I think. Toishia. We did a video on that. You want to go look on Airbnb do's and don'ts. Airbnb do's and don'ts. We talk about the different areas and where you stay if you're on vacation versus doing a scouting trip. And we circled the areas that are our favorite. And there is a link to the map of the different areas in the Lisbon metro area, as well as where the metro line runs. Okay. So it's Airbnb do's and don'ts. And that's where you should look. Because watch the video, because I can't tell people where to stay. It depends on what you want to do, right? If you want to hang out at the beach every other day versus doing museums, those are two different areas. So watch the video. Alicia and Rick, you got my NEEF and bank account on the track now. Okay, good. Just got my NEEF. Yes. Congratulations, Becca. Congratulations. Yes. Yes, Pinky. I call organized religion disorganized religion. Look, with this Christian nationalism and all this other fake stuff, doesn't matter what religion it is. Different branches of the same religion can't agree on what's what and what's true and what ain't, right? It's just goofy. It really is just goofy. Just listen, love thy neighbor, love God more than you love yourself or anything else, and let's keep it moving. Because that right there should, if you really follow that, should be everything else is a derivative of that, and that will set you on the right track. I was on serious lockdown. My sons told people my mama is not playing. No, and I wasn't playing either. and I was not playing either. All right, we are going to wrap this up because it has been 2.5 hours and Karen has been so generous. Do you believe that?
I can't believe it. It was just so easy to talk with you all. So thank you so much. Thank you for the questions.
It's just like we talk in real life, right? It's like, that's right. There's an audience. There's folks watching, right? So move to Portugal Virtual Summit, y'all. Karen Louise is going to be one of the speakers. You see how much experience she has with this country, as well as the healthcare system. So she's going to be talking specifically about her experiences with the healthcare system, and you will be able to ask her questions. For those of us who are over 40, over 50, we're serious about our health because we're looking less time in front of us, and we want to elongate that as much as we can than the time that was
Yes.
behind us, right? So we've got to take care of ourselves, take care of our bodies, take care of our minds, take care of our spirits. And so this is, you've got someone here who is about all of that and is going to be answering your questions, along with another one of my dear family members here in Portugal. And so between the two of them, you're going to get all of your questions answered. That's the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, and it's November 1st through the 3rd. Will we be doing one next year? I can't guarantee that. And if I had to answer today, it would be no. Because this is starting to feel like a real job, y'all.
Your job.
And I ain't about that life. So
That's
don't
what
wait.
Why don't you do a cooking show? I said, I don't want that's work. That's
Right.
Work.
Right.
Let me cook with fun, and I'll just post it on Facebook. How about that?
There you go.
Exactly. There you go. Right. So I'm sure y'all are going to have more questions. If you just want your hand held and to help you come up with a plan to move abroad, you can book a call with us. That's in the description below. If you need to get your money straight, we've got Beyond the Bling, which is our financial independence course for late bloomers. We were late bloomers. So we can help you get your money straight so that you can retire on time or maybe even early. If you want to join our community, that is the Fire Over 50 Facebook group. So you do not have to be over 50, but you do have to be from the diaspora. If Rick or I cannot tell that from your picture on your Facebook page, if you got a flower or a pet or something like that, it's going to take longer for you to get in the group. I'm sorry, babies, but an avatar.
I have that rule for POC too. You got to have a picture. Okay? We got to know who we're dealing with.
Okay, so people of color, POCs in Portugal, Facebook group, Our Black Utopia's Fire Over 50 Facebook group. Join them so that you can be part of the community. We love y'all, and we will see you on Thursday. Bye.
Yes. Bye. Boa noite.
Boa noite. Boa tarde.
Boa tarde. Boa noite.